Right now, get 50% off all window styles. Plus, you could get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Sale ends January 31st, so schedule your consult now at 866-90NATION or at windownation.com. Tell them you heard it on WPHT.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
Do you think that banking is boring? At PNC, we know that meeting the banking needs of the community is anything but boring. That's why PNC Bank geared up this year and introduced the mobile branch across the region to bring banking services to underserved neighborhoods. And long before that, PNC Community Development Banking was leading the way in investing in the economic health of our neighborhoods. To see the brilliant results that boring banking can deliver for you, stop into any PNC branch right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank National Association, member FDIC.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 12th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in in-demand fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills and credentials you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Watching the news conference this morning, I mean, you couldn't just have one signer. They had to tag another guy, and the signer got tired. They tagged in a man bun guy in L.A. And seeing these people all on the stage, don't you think the fire chief, after she makes her statement, ought to be out in the field, rallying people, rallying the troops, getting the best sense of it? No! She knows she's DEI. She knows the whole operation is DEI. Why do anything like that? Stand there and pontificate, look worried. Tell people we're getting more resources. To do what with them? All right, so I am glad, and no one in the media should be able to corral people from pushing back to say, no, now is the time to call this for what it is, progressivism in action. Many times the stuff we talk about with progressives is silly, annoying, but always lurking there is they will get you killed. They will get you destroyed at so many different levels. YouTube alert. One I'll play you in a moment is Karen Bass when she finally comes back, the mayor of L.A., to talk to the media. Great reporting. This reporter just goes through a litany of things that she hasn't answered for. And instead of answering them or saying, how dare you, I guess she could have done that, Karen Bass just stands there. It's an excruciating. You have to see it, too. We'll do that in just a second. But I mentioned to Dawn a moment ago, this group, the Young Turks, all right, they're fairly well known, and they do hold themselves out. In fact, their mission is to reach, they say, the 60% of Americans that they believe have progressive views. Now, I don't know. They may qualify on one view here and there. I don't think 60% of Americans are progressive, though. The number could be relatively small, but they're good at taking over power. So one of them, Anna Kasparin, I guess she's kind of the second in command. I don't see them as much anymore. They're fairly popular. She on Twitter responds to a progressive nonprofit blaming the water shortage in California on a billionaire couple, some shadowy billionaire couple. And she writes, no, our mayor, who was in Ghana as fires exploded in our city, cut the fire budget by $17 million. Endless amounts of money funneled to scammer, homeless nonprofits. Yet we still higher tax than ever. We have encampments and squalor everywhere. Even worse, we don't have enough firefighters to respond to this. And one of the reasons was the firefighters that were let go when they wouldn't get the COVID vax. And she goes on to say, rather than conserve the record rain we got last year, we just drained it into the ocean. We are a failing city run by a sick excuse for local government. You want to radicalize people against the modern Democratic Party? Send them to L.A. Now, their remedy probably is an all-time oxymoron. Competent progressivism probably is what they would say. I don't know that they don't see that these people are progressive, but Cenk Uygur, who is the leader of this, has been somewhat critical of the Democrat Party and somewhat of progressives at times. I wouldn't call him a Fetterman, but he's been somewhat down that path. And this is just a shining example. So carefully, while giving due note to the destruction to the victims, we should be right now talking about what is the root cause of it. The other side says it's climate. They're always going to go to that. And I say, no, this is what screwed up progressives do. They don't have to make anything on merit. It's all based on DEI, particularly the fire chief, the mayor. The mayor is outstanding. Why stay in Ghana? Well, it's all about racism. She was a delegate. Somebody inaugurated in Ghana. That's more important than running the second biggest city, particularly when there were all kinds of alerts on this. Is that blaming the victims? No. Do I think you're going to see these voters in L.A. suddenly toss out progressives? Not necessarily. So you got to continue to ask yourself, what is in it for people that vote for this? Well, their ideology, their worldview. For a while, they'll complain about it. They'll go, oh, my God, the hydrants. Yeah, the L.A. mayor said the hydrants can't handle mass devastation. On Twitter, and to me, it looks very real, and I understand the reason why, because the water is not coming through enough through the hoses. You have L.A. firefighters filling up ladies' handbags. Well, L.A., they might be men's, I'm not sure. Handbags, and running to the fire to try to put out a house fire with them. And the only thing I could think of is there's not enough water pressure. It doesn't go through the hose because there's not enough water, so they're making do with the little bit they're able to pump and engage in that. I mean, firefighters running with handbags, they don't know shame, they don't know disgrace, and the media is trying to say, how dare you, while people are suffering. Take a look at this. Our eyes on the ball now. It is a blame game. Absolutely. I blame every single one of them. I blame the whole mechanism, the whole thought mechanism. It leads to results like this. Every one of them is a screw up and down the line, including Gavin Newsom. Here's the Karen Bass, though, with this reporter, I believe, from Sky News. It goes on for about 2 minutes or so. And amazingly, she doesn't seem to answer anything other than doing a Biden and giving us a URL that doesn't exist if people want help, which is apropos of what this woman's all about. Here's how it sounded.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today?
YouTube.com/@12WPHT.
Elon Musk says that
It's a
you're
blank stare on her
utterly
face.
incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Still no answer.
Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
You can see a little tinge of guilt in her face, I think. You see the guilt, or?
Well, I don't know about that.
No apology for them?
She's just not on her feet able to answer it, so she
Do you
just
think you
doesn't
should have
try.
been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Still at the podium.
She's now walking through the hallways.
Yeah, good job by that guy. He asked it in a respectful way, but a very pointed way. And she could have said, you know what, now's not the time for this, buddy. We'll get into this. I'm more concerned with it. Nothing. There is nothing here. So we have this age-old question. How do these people up and down the line, they crawl with this? Not merit, but DEI. That's exactly what the whole thing is about. Well, because you still have substantial numbers of people who agree with this. Now, they get appalled when it all comes out. So what do they do next? They blame us for pointing it out, saying, have you no shame? They start to blame climate. They find something else. They find some billionaire couple. Remember, I just read you that one. Instead of looking at the root cause of this. Yes, this could have been difficult to control, but it certainly should have been relatively controllable. They didn't remove the brush effectively. I'm looking at a program they spent over $5 billion on 5 years ago, and they haven't put it in operation yet in order to sluice the water from the snow into the reservoirs and have that if we have a major situation like this. Now, do I think Philadelphia is as bad? No, I don't think Sherelle Parker is like Karen Bass. But they're not exactly world class either. How many cities run by Democrats, progressive cities particularly, would be able to see this, be building up for it, and deal with it? And the answer is almost none that I can think of.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Right now we have the video going, not the audio, of the handbags of fire. How ridiculous is that, Dom? Wow.
It appears to be, to me, true, too. I've seen nobody, because those look like firefighters. Now, speaking of firefighters, David Muir. I don't like David Muir even a little bit. You saw what he was really about during the debate. It was outrageous. Trump missed an opportunity. He should have gone right back at him on a couple of things rather than just meandering. Remember that debate? And I get it. When you're on TV, a lot of it is how you look, too. That's important. But if you're going to be standing there, as this guy does, Mr. Empathy, talking about that, and you have these clothespins on the back of your fake firefighter's jacket in order to cinch in your waist, and I think that's out of line. Yeah, you should put on makeup for this, fix your hair in the proper way. It is about how you look. But there's a line that's crossed, and when Muir turns to the side, you see the clothespins pulling this in so that it's more form-fitting. I think that's a little bit much. All right, let me give you the side question today, 855-839-1210. By the way, I got a story today that I saw late last night, reading it. I hope you remember this later on in the show, because this is the big national story going on now. We have the former Girls High principal who was kicked out because she wanted proper decorum at the graduation, and certain students, rather than maintain, Girls High is the girls' school, even though it's going completely downhill. It's kind of like Central, which also went downhill. They were told no shouting, no mugging for the crowd when you walk up to get your diploma. And one girl started to dance across the stage. So this principal said, you're not getting your diplomas right here. She gave them to them later, and they kicked her out of Girls High for that. She's suing for racial discrimination, and she was discriminated against. She's white. She absolutely was discriminated against. She'll probably win $1 million or more. And the school district of Philadelphia would say, who cares? Taxpayers pay for that. But I'll give you the details. It made international news. It didn't happen in 24. It was a 23 graduation. But we'll get to that. The fire department saying January is fire hydrant testing time. Oh, God. What in the world are you able to come up with? Okay, side question today. Today is the birthday. I'm not sure if he'd be 100 today. I'd have to go back and look at his age if he were alive. Would he be? No, maybe over 100. Richard Nixon. I read 2 or 3 books on Nixon. He's a fascinating character. Arguably, most people think the biggest intellectual as a president of anybody ever. So Nixon had a very distinctive style that was often mocked, and rightfully so. It wasn't
the unhappiest people of the world are those in the watering places, the international watering places like the south coast of France and Newport and Palm Springs and Palm Beach, going to parties every night.
All right, that's from Futurama, right?
That's really Richard Nixon.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
I thought that was.
You want some Futurama,
yeah,
Richard Nixon?
Let's hear the Futurama.
Listen up, nitwits. Who here is tired of illegal space aliens taking our good Earth jobs?
Yeah! That sounds even more like Nixon as I remember it. Yeah, it's a better Nixon. Now, in studio with us is our own Jim Kelly, vocal impressionist extraordinaire. And the side question today. With Nixon, we had a million different Nixon's angles to think about. But that all-time, not just voice, but vocal style, voice and style as far as presentation that stands out. So I'm going to take off. I'm not going to do him today. I don't want to embarrass the real impressionist. But I think anybody can do Bill Clinton. It's a master of empathy. Bill Clinton is an all-time distinctive. It's the, I'm sorry. I thought it was 12:30. My mistake. Okay. All right. Bill O'Reilly's next, Jim. Just hold up right here. We'll go to the great Bill O'Reilly here on Talk Radio 1210.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
If you depend on Social Security, your retirement lifestyle may be at risk.
Jim O'Neill, Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania. I have my doubts about where we're going as a country. Much of our Social Security funding may dry up, which is not good for the citizens who paid into that system. Take your money and put it into a crash-proof retirement system. With the crash-proof retirement system, I can supplement or even replace Social Security and not deplete my nest egg. It's guaranteed. This year, I have earned over 14%. We do not have to pay any fees, and you cannot lose it. I have absolute peace of mind because I am protected by crash-proof retirement.
You don't have to wait until our next event to start your crash-proof retirement educational process. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Miss any of the Dom Giordano program? Download and follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. It kind of slides into our question of the day. Richard Nixon's birthday, all-time vocal style is a side question. Well, how about the vocal style of one Bill O'Reilly? Bill joins us here on Talk Radio 1210. Bill, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year, Dom. Thanks for having me back.
Was the O'Reilly style on air always that, Bill, or when you started, was it different?
Well, I was a reporter for many, many years, and I started 50 years ago. It's my 50th anniversary, July 2025. January. Boy, I wish it were July. Freezing my butt off here. I'm sure it's cold in Philly, too. And as a reporter, when I first started out, I was pretty dismal. Didn't really have a lot of style. And I was straight. I didn't inject my opinion or anything like that. But over the years, I became proficient at my craft. I was hired by CBS Channel 2 in New York as a local reporter, graduated to the network, and then later on worked at ABC with Peter Jennings. So my repertorial style was fairly straightforward. It was smooth. I can speak. I have that Irish blarney. I was blessed with it. And then I made the transition into commentary, first at the ABC affiliate in Boston, and then in the national realm with Fox News. And then I got brash, but I was always a brash guy. I just didn't use that part of my personality when reporting hard news.
Got it. Did you ever interview Richard Nixon?
Never did. Monica Crowley, who was his aide before he died, told me that Nixon was a big fan. But at that point, he was elderly, and I never really caught up with him. First president I ever spoke with was Gerald Ford, right after Nixon left office. And in the late 1970s, I caught up with him in Vail, Colorado, and had an extensive conversation with him. And then subsequently, I talked to every single president with the exception of Ronald Reagan. And I don't really know why our paths didn't cross, but they never did.
Well, that brings us to President Trump, Bill. And I'm wearing people out because of the credibility you have with me and with the American public, and the sort of relationship you have with Trump over the years, including you amuse him, apparently, you said this week. It triggered me when I saw that on News Nation. And when you talked about Trump asking you about being the greatest president, or at least a great president, I have really pegged optimism on that. We all know he goes off the trail. But if he continues on that, he will do great things in his second term. So where do we stand now with Trump?
Well, I had a 3-hour meeting with him last Thursday, 1 week ago, in Mar-a-Lago, and it was an amazing window on history. I write about it on BillO'Reilly.com in my column, which anybody can access. You don't have to be a member or anything like that, called Trump Ascendant. He's very focused, more focused than I've ever seen him, and I've known him for 35 years. And he does want to be a Mount Rushmore kind of guy. And in order to do that, he's got to fulfill his campaign promises, and he has basically got to make the lives of all the American people better. There is a pathway, but it is not going to be easy. And the president is a bombastic style. It's not going to change. He thinks it works to his advantage by saying, hey, we may invade Panama or Greenland. He's not going to invade Panama or Greenland, and Canada's not going to be the 51st state. But he says all this to shake it up and to try to gain advantage in negotiations. We're going to report tonight, Dom, on the No Spin News. And again, you can access it on BillO'Reilly.com. It's all over the place. About how many billions of dollars, almost $1 trillion a year, is in play for trade deficits against the USA. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. And Trump knows it. But in order to get it to stop, he's going to have to do some heavy-duty negotiating, which is a hammer and carrot situation. And so he starts off with the hammer.
Yeah, exactly. No, Bill, that is encouraging. Look, I agree with you. Panama Canal, Canada, trolling, either having some fun, doing something, negotiating. But I think he wants to buy Greenland. And isn't that something that probably got into his mind? What's remembered? Buying Alaska, things like that. Something that Americans did. Panama Canal. Is that his thinking on Greenland?
When I was visiting President Trump in Florida, I got to sit in on a cabinet meeting, which was an extraordinary window, both for a journalist and a historian. And he asked me about it. He asked me about, I don't volunteer information to the President of the United States, no matter who he is or she may be upcoming, unless asked. I just don't do it. So he asked me about Greenland. And I said, look, you can make a deal with King Frederick and his parliament over in Copenhagen, and you can get exactly what you want, and they'll do it because it's worthwhile for them to do it. They'll make a ton of money doing it. You don't have to say you're going to send Don Jr. and the special forces up there to take it over. In fact, there's a rumor that the Greenland people said, look, we'll give you anything you want if you just take Don Jr. home. So he can get his deals. But for Donald Trump, he I guess it amuses him to throw all these hand grenades. And it always has. He has always done that in his negotiations.
Now, Bill, wait a minute. You said cabinet. Do you mean he has the people that he's nominated there?
No, it was a cabinet meeting among advisors.
Oh, okay.
So sitting next to me was Miller, and then Lutnick was there, and a whole bunch of other guys. It was 6 guys in the room, and I walked in. I don't think they were all thrilled to see me. I know Stephen Miller pretty well. I don't think he was,
but
the others.
Yeah,
Peter Navarro was looking at me like, how did this guy actually get on the grounds? Because when I'm asked anything, Dom, you know this, because you know me many years. I'll tell you I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear.
Exactly.
Ever. I'm going to give you an honest assessment and back it up.
Well, this is still encouraging, though, Bill. What you said, again, never sound more focused. We know the emotionality. We know he can get off on any other kind of thing. But he wants to be great, and if he realizes making this what he calls the golden age, here's the thing, though. Elon Musk, Bill, I don't know on your show or if you had some break over the holidays, but on my show and a couple shows here, that HP1 stuff with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, Trump's on the wrong side of that with the base. I'm not saying it's unforgivable, but they're looking at this and they don't like it.
Small ball.
You think so?
It's small ball. It just, look, there are a million things like that come up. And they're always rolled over and rolled over and rolled over. When they come up with a plan, then I will analyze it. I don't have time to analyze what might happen, what could happen, what Ramaswamy wants, what anybody. I don't. When Donald Trump gets behind something and says, this is what I'm going to try to do, then I come in. But I don't even pay attention. I got so much other stuff to pay attention to. You got hostages. I learned that 80% of them are dead. And Trump is going to get the remaining ones out. He will. I absolutely believe that. But I'm dealing with that. I'm dealing with Xi and the collapsing China economy. I'm dealing with Putin and the ruble collapsing, which I brought to the attention of President Trump in that meeting. And I said, look, you got a huge advantage here, because the only thing keeping Vladimir Putin from being buried tomorrow is the generals that protect him, and they're being paid in rubles, and now they can't spend the money.
Absolutely.
So Putin's going to have to deal.
I haven't seen too much of this, but that's what you get at BillO'Reilly.com. How about on the book front right now? Are we in hiatus? What are you working on?
No, I mean, confronting the president's 17 weeks on the New York Times list, number 7. It's unbelievable. It's still number 7. And Cher, I'm angry at Cher because she's ahead of me. I'm going to have to talk to her. I am writing another book for next September. I'm not going to announce it until March, because if I announce it now, someone will steal the idea. And so I got to be careful about that. But it's going to be along the lines of it's going to be another confronting book. And we're busy here for the new year, and I'm an old guy, as I said, 50 years in the business, my God. But, we're still perking along. And, I'm going to be very zeroed in on the first year of the Trump administration. That will tell the tale. He's got 12 months. Because the other 3 years, then you get into all kinds of other stuff, looking out, forward this, forward that. This year is so vital for this country. And, I'm giving Trump a fair chat, as I always do. I'm respectful. If the President of the United States asks me to come to where he is, I'm going to come, and I don't care who the president is. Biden could say, hey, come down to Rehoboth, we'll sit under the umbrella, and I'll go, okay.
All right. Well, Bill, congratulations. 50 years. That's a great milestone. BillO'Reilly.com all the time. Bill, thank you. Happy New Year, too.
Okay, Dom, let's talk soon. Thanks for having me in.
All right, Bill O'Reilly here on Talk Radio 1210. Now, I peg a lot on that. You hear him 3 hours with President Trump and the advisors, the cabinet, and that Trump is much more buttoned up, much more focused this time around. I differ with him on the HB1 thing. I don't think it's small ball. I don't like what they're doing, what Elon Musk is doing, and how that went down. We'll see what they finally come out with. All right, phone lines to get in. Is Jim still around here, Henry, or no? Is he? Okay. Hit us with that all-time voice is what we're looking for, or vocal pattern. We played you Nixon. I'm going to take off the board. I mentioned Bill Clinton. Trump, of course. We never take that as an answer. But you know who has a great voice? Shut your eyes the next time around that you see her, if you watch and stream or if you see her on TV. Megyn Kelly, Henry. Have you ever just shut your eyes because you see her all the time and just listen to Megyn Kelly's voice? It's incredible.
It is.
As a female authoritative voice.
It's a nice, because everyone's always yelling or screaming or doing
it's
something. The clips I record, and it's a nice break when I can record her voice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So in studio with us is mimic extraordinaire, Impressionist. He'll come where you are, just like Bill O'Reilly. Jim, how about a little Bill O'Reilly, since we just had O'Reilly here? He thinks he just has a normal pattern, that's not something that's kind of unusual.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You guys here on the Dom Giordano program, and it's an honor to be here because, as they say, thank you very much. Right now, welcome to The Factor. Tonight, we're going to talk about Ludacris and his Progressive commercial.
All right, so Jim Kelly, over these years, who's your favorite? Who's your all-time favorite?
I had to say my favorite would be Rush, but others would be a lot of Simpson characters probably are some of my favorites. Bob Pantano on our sister station is another favorite of mine.
What a random voice.
Well, we were in his way. We were in the same book at Newman. You know that, right? So let's hear Bob Pantano.
We've got a great time tonight right now. Saturday night dance party. Really good time as we play some great songs. Don't forget, we'll be at the beach bar tomorrow night. All right, great time right now. The great Dan Borowski playing those great songs. Yep. We'll be at the beach bar tomorrow night. We'll be at Kavitsky's on Saturday. And don't forget right now to stop off and see my buddy Aldo Lamberti, some car dealership, some food thing. And you do know what today is, right, Dan?
What's today?
Today is a very significant anniversary.
Yes. Here we go.
Anniversary what?
You don't know that, Dan?
You don't know what the
I don't know where he's going with this. No, I
consider
genuinely.
that as a side question. I was going to change it.
Today's my anniversary, guys.
Oh, really?
As I went to satellite radio, Robin.
First day, right?
I'm probably not going to. It's my first day on satellite radio, where I was going to become a revolutionary. The revolution was going to begin. And I guarantee you, though, I'm not there today. Definitely not. I mean, it's Thursday.
Taking your anniversary off, huh?
I took my anniversary off. Yeah, I'm going to be off through January. I'm going to do with Jim Kelly. I'm going to steal this great idea. I'm going to go to sleep on April 2nd. And on January 2nd, Robin. I'm going to go to sleep, and then I'm going to go wake up on April 3rd. I stole that from Jim Kelly, Robin.
And your greatest segment ever, Howard. We all know what that was. 14 minutes attacking Dom Giordano.
Attacking Dom Giordano. But guess what, though? At least I got the name right. D-O-M.
All right. Thank you, Merrill Reese.
Thank you, Dominic Giordano. It's an honor to be on your show, as always. And Jim Kelly, just when you thought you were out, they always pull you back in.
Thank you. Thank you, Merrill.
Who's Today brought to you by?
Who's Today brought to you by, though? Yes.
It's brought to you by PNC Bank.
All right, thank you. You don't do Mike Quick. Okay, stick with Merrill. That's enough. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for the appearance.
We've got a request to do Harry Callis. Do you do Harry Callis?
Yeah, Harry Callis?
No, never really done a Harry Callis.
How do you live in Philadelphia and you never took the time to do a Harry Callis?
I don't know, Dan. That's one of them.
That's not as distinctive.
I used to try to do a Dom Giordano impression, but it just never really. It never happened.
Come on now. Let's hear your try.
Yeah, just put a heavy South Philly accent.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's Dom, because he's filled in everywhere else. So here's Dom. Hey, everybody, welcome in. Dom Giordano here at WOGL. A little different than what I'm used to. Pinch hitting for Angela Mason and Bob Pantano tonight. Don't forget, get in on this, the trip a day. And, hey, it's Men at Work here on WOGL.
Men at Work. All right, thank you, Jim, very much. Bravo.
Did you do a music show at one point, Dom? Is that what he's alluding to?
Yeah,
No.
if they asked me to fill in, though, WIP, there was talk at one point. Can you imagine the audience? Oh, man.
Since he's filled in on every other radio station that you could possibly
That's
imagine,
true.
why not do a music show on WOGL?
Could you imagine Dom coming up next? We have Travis Scott.
Not enough talking there. You talk for 10 seconds and you wait for 3 hours. Yeah. All right, 855-839-1210. Henry, who's yours? Who's the distinctive voice?
I got two today. So I'm going to take off
Thanks,
someone
Jim.
I relate with heavily, and that would be the legendary comedian Stephen Wright. And his very monotone, dry.
It seems to come through you.
Yeah,
All
see,
right, yeah, it
you
does,
hear
yes.
it coming through the mic.
You a
right
big
now.
Mitch Hedberg fan, too?
Yeah, he's good too, but
Yeah,
I don't know. There's
I
something
can
about
see
the at least Mitch has energy when he's doing it. I like Stephen's just. I got food poisoning today.
Oh, my gosh. You do him really
That's
well.
very well. I only know
Wait,
him a
hold
little
on.
bit,
I got to
yeah.
hear this a little bit. Dude.
I got food poisoning today. Don't know when I'll use it yet.
It's a really good Stephen Wright
Thank you.
impression.
Yeah, no, it's right in my wheelhouse.
Even
And
got a
then-
thumbs up from Jimmy over there. That's great.
Very good. Dan, how about yours?
I'm going to take another one that Jim can do off the board. How about some, because he's so controversial, he always gets mentioned when we do distinct voices, Gilbert Gottfried.
See, he's deceased, but right?
Yeah.
I think he is, yeah.
Oh, are we doing living?
He lives on in the
No, it
Affleck
doesn't
commercials.
matter. Gilbert Gottfried really caused trouble when we were at the old building for the morning host center. Who's no longer.
Do you have a Gilbert impression there,
God,
Jim?
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, my God, yes. I remember that. So you were in Two Bauer. And you know what the great thing about Two Bauer Plaza was? At least you could park in Two Bauer Plaza. Here you're just driving around. It's like, where's the parking at around here? There's nowhere to park.
Inside story. I don't know what he did. I wasn't there for that, but it was bad on the air. So, yeah. That's a guy you don't want to have on the air. All right, coming up, hit us with your all-time great. It may not just be the voice. It may be this Henry. It's the whole delivery, like O'Reilly. It's the whole delivery. He doesn't even think he's doing it. I've been around O'Reilly just standing there talking, and it's the same thing. I've heard Merrill Reese on the golf course, and it's the same thing as if on the air. It's not just pumped up for the air. It's the same thing. Dan, who was yours again?
Gilbert Gottfried. I'll take
Gilbert
another
Gottfried,
one. Mentioned yesterday, we were talking about Meghan Markle's new show that she's doing, trying to be the next Julia Child. Jim, you do a Julia Child impression?
Afraid not, no.
Oh, why not?
Right.
Why don't you do one? Oh.
All right.
Is that Mickey Mouse? Or
It sounds more like
Sounds kind of the same to
Sesame
me.
Street. All right, here's how you get in. 855-839-1210. Hit us with that on the side question. Nixon's birthday, and Dan has gotten Roger Stone, who has Nixon tattooed on his back, a giant Nixon, among other things. And he'll be here to talk about Nixon, but also Trump, whom he's advised. You heard O'Reilly. Does that give you faith that Trump will follow through during this second term? Hey, looking to achieve your health goals, start the new year right. Now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year savings. Rescue is celebrating, and you can save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements with the code HEALTH35. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Whatever your health goals, Rescue has you covered. To place an order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Start your journey to better health today. Use the code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements with the code HEALTH35. Don't wait. Make this year your best yet with Rescue.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Do you know your numbers? What numbers? Your heart health numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, and your body mass index. They're important, so ask your doctor. Learn your numbers, and if something doesn't seem right with them, see a Deborah specialist at one of our offices throughout South Jersey. After all, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. Find a specialist near you at demanddeborah.org.
Hi, I'm Mike Venaria Jr. with Ausperity Private Wealth. Financial planning can be overwhelming regardless of market conditions. I specialize in retirement and legacy planning and tax minimization strategies. Protect your family and future generations without sacrificing our shared principles of hard work and American independence. Take control of your financial future. Call me, Mike Venaria Jr. at 856-252-0107.
Securities through Sanctuary Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, advisory services through Sanctuary Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Dawn Stensland here. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. Sleek new designs and innovative features with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
You want to show that special person in your life how much you care? Then start the new year off with the 5 C's from Cozy Jewelers. I'm talking about color, cut, clarity, carat, and of course, the Cozy Touch. Our diamonds showcase vibrant color, precision cut, unparalleled clarity, and a carat that captures hearts. All of that adds up to an unforgettable gift, and that is the Cozy Touch. So for any special occasion, there is only one place to shop, Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square, or online at cozyjewelers.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535, 800-511-3535, or biglou.com.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
All right, it is Dom time, 855-839-1210. You get on board. A couple things about the fires in California. One, Mayor Bass just a little while ago said, well, it's a perfect storm. Yeah, it is a perfect storm of progressivism. By that, she means, oh, no, it's a perfect storm of who could have seen this coming. They get wildfires all the time. They had these reports of severe wind coming with this. And you look at the infrastructure, how bad they are. It's not a perfect storm. Oh, nobody would have been able to anticipate or overcome this. The other is any place like California where there's one-party rule, but particularly with progressives. But even in places where Republicans are in charge and there's just no counterbalance, you're going to have trouble. That's a large part of the problem. I've told you, I've asked some of these people in Philadelphia that have gotten convicted, be it Shaka Fatah, Seth Williams, his friend. And it seems like they were thinking, well, I'm fine with the Democrat chieftains in town. I can do whatever the hell I want. Right? You forgot about the feds. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what happens. As long as you're inside that, when it's one party, you don't have too much to worry about. But this devastation, and to see them today in this news conference, they're not out there and inspiring anybody. Also, California had a big insurance crisis. A lot of it was canceled as this happened. State Farm, our buddy from State Farm, last time he was at the Sugar Bowl. I hope that guy's not bringing the game tonight. My God. Just amazing. I wonder what he'd say about the fires in Pacific Palisades. All right, and bonus points. If you attempt an impression of the person you're calling in about on the side question. All right, Richard Nixon, one of the most distinctive. When Dan played that, I thought that was Futurama, not Nixon. And what was the catch line? I was looking for it yesterday when he did laugh in. Sock it to me. I think Nixon actually said that, or they did it with him. The most awkward guy imaginable.
Sock it to me?
How did Nixon become president? Not once, twice. Two reasons. Brilliance beyond belief and determination, second to not discipline, just to reach that goal. That's how he did it. Otherwise, how would this guy, particularly, imagine sitting on stage. Look at Richard Nixon with no makeup or bad makeup, 5 o'clock shadow, and who's he sitting on stage with? A tanned John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who I think arguably was the most handsome president, not even close in history. You just can't, you can't sit on stage with a guy like this. You're going to look incredibly bad. All right, let's go to John in Waterford. And John, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Afternoon, John.
Hi, Dom. How you doing?
Good, John.
Okay, I when I was in high school, I had a certain teacher who had a unique, like, not so much his voice, but it was his speech pattern. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And well, we used to know him as Mr. Giordano.
What was so different? I had the same speech pattern, John. What was different
No,
about it?
it's not like the way you put sentences together. I mean, the way you say phrases. That's what sounds so familiar.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. What year were you at Triton, John?
I graduated in 1982, so I think that puts me in your class from 79 to 80.
Yeah,
right? You were
somewhere
10th grade?
around there. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell he's one of your students. He said graduated.
Stop. Wait a minute. So, John, what are you doing now?
Actually, right now I'm a custodian in a different school.
Okay. Well, John,
I don't know if I can tell you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But thank you. Thanks for that recognition. I'm glad it stuck
That's
a bit.
awesome. What's
Yeah.
the world?
Well, actually, because when I first started listening to you, I didn't make the connection because, I mean, to us, you weren't Dom. You were Mr. Giordano.
Right.
But then somebody that I went to school with said, yeah, you know that guy? That's you remember in high school? That's Mr. Giordano. And as soon as he said it, I picked up on like your speech.
So was he
like
the teacher that everyone was afraid of, or was he the cool kid, the cool guy teacher?
Oh, no. He was a pretty cool teacher, honestly.
Yeah? Yeah, so he's talking himself up when he would, say he was always angry and aggressive with his students.
I never said that.
No, he was kind of a pal teacher,
That's awesome.
Well,
I
thank
can see
you,
that.
John.
I could definitely see
Appreciate it very much. Happy New Year. Thank you, John. All right, put that guy to the head of the class.
Sorry, I don't mean to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Joe of Columbus has a very good one, very distinctive pattern. The personality that comes through the voice, an original. And you just heard Bill O'Reilly, and he said, I was kind of tepid when I was a reporter, that kind of thing. I'm telling you, it's not showbiz with O'Reilly when he's coming at you. Geraldo has told me many times, that time they almost had to fight on there, he knew it. He was ready to go right at him. He's telling himself, I'm 6'5". I'm going to kill Bill O'Reilly right here. Distinct beyond belief. But Nixon, very underrated how distinctive that is. Robert in Bensalem on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Robert. Afternoon.
Hey, Dom, Dan. Good to talk to you guys today. Before I get to my side question, I want to just say it would be a good thing watching progressivism crash and burn, no pun intended. But what really kills me is the victims of it. I mean, if you think about it, Don, between their approach to crime, their approach to public emergency, everything, I would say between 50 and 100,000 people have died or come close to dying because of Democrat policies over the last 4 years. And that's the tragic part out of it, as these people do their tap dance around it. But it looks like the reality's starting to catch up to them and the media as well. And it can't come soon enough, because the sooner they die, the sooner good people stop dying. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, and I think my only caution here is I'm not sure that Republicans have it within them. Trump has the secret sauce, all the stuff that he does, and he's broken through. You and I agree these things have always been there. Can we solidify it so after the Trump years, Republicans can continue to shine the light on this and people are going to see it? I hope so. In other words, I hope it's epiphany for people. I hope it's not just they're enamored with Trump particularly.
Well, there's one good thing that might spare us from that. I don't see another George H.W. Bush waiting in the wings when Trump goes to kill the Republican movement. Congratulate Scott, because I didn't get a chance to, for winning Caller of the Year, and also Joe from Columbus for making a hell of a run. You know, there's more people that voted in that thing than I've ever seen in these things, and I think that's a good thing.
It was incredible, yes. I'm going to have voter ID the next year. Come on, we're going to have a voting booth at the NAC. You're going to have to show up there to vote. That's what's going to happen.
Well, anytime a profile is raised, there's always some shenanigans involved, but the profile is still raised, right?
Absolutely.
My answer to the side question is, before I do the interview, before this with Cassius Clay, smack, I'm sorry, Muhammad Ali. I'm terrible at impressions, but I wanted to get this answer in before anybody else did. I got to go with Howard Cosell.
All-time great.
And I'm glad he held on to his toupee as long as he did. You guys have yourself a great day, all right?
Thank you. Cosell with Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. And Joe Frazier was taking it. Ali was working him over before a big fight. Then he called him ignorant, and Joe Frazier went nuts, and Cosell's toupee got knocked off. It was crazy. Pretty hard to knock it off. All right, 855-839-1210. More of your calls coming up. At 2 o'clock, we're going to have Roger Stone, who is the biggest Nixon guy out there that I know of. And I'll ask him about Trump, whom he's advised. He's got some interesting Republicans. He's on Substack that he's calling out as rhinos still. So he'll be here at 2 o'clock. Your calls are next, though, on Talk Radio 1210.
Hi, it's Nick Cale. If you missed our Veteran Spotlight this month, you missed the story of United States Marine Corps veteran Gabe Rangel and how he is still serving our community with the Travis Manion Foundation. Check out the podcast or the video at 1210WPHT.com and click on our Veteran Spotlight. You'll be glad you did. It's all presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Win big this winter with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning's win-win deal, offering the best HVAC value on new installs to keep your home warm. Save thousands instantly with no equipment markups, extended 10-year warranty, rebates, and tax credits. Plus, CNC makes budgeting for your new system easy with 0% financing options. Schedule an estimate today with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York certified comfort experts, and start saving today. Visit cc-hvac.com. Offers only for new installations through January 31st.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
The state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter was held in Washington this morning before he's laid to rest in Georgia. The Red Cross in our area is sending some disaster workers out west to help those affected by the LA wildfires. And SEPTA is putting up more signs designating Metro service by letters and colors.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
Dom Giordano show, just looking online during the break. Here's an evacuated Pasadena resident telling various news media, we are sick and tired of having liberal political leadership play Russian roulette with all of our lives. I get the anger. I don't even think it's Russian roulette. They're completely loaded. They don't care. That's not their mission. And the number one job of anybody in these positions is what? To protect citizens. Next job is to make their lives more convenient and easier. They fail at every level. But I realize it's maddening driving that home. Are we at a tipping point here? Or is it just Trump had the secret sauce and she's so bad, meaning Kamala Harris, that we were able to do this? By the way, no love lost. Dr. Jill Biden today. Oh, man. When Biden and Dr. Jill came in, the Harrises were already seated. And even CNN commentary, they are not even looking at each other. Yeah, that's probably a good move when you have to sit through a funeral of hours with all these people you despise there. Meanwhile, Obama and Trump were nudging each other and talking a lot. And Michelle Obama apparently, I know she's in Hawaii. That's a long trip and all, but my God, doesn't show up for this. And here's why I've always resented Michelle Obama. Because Michelle Obama is the one that's held out by so many media types as the gold standard of civility and all the rest of it. How does she not show up at the funeral then? Doesn't have to be there, but doesn't. I don't know if any antagonism with Jimmy Carter. Just decided she wasn't going to inconvenience herself and go through that. She absolutely has a right to do that. I remember Rudy Giuliani, though, saying, you always have to show up at the funeral. Other things, it's nice if you show up. He said this around 9/11. All right, we'll take some more on that all-time, think distinctive, not just great voice, but something really distinctive in their style. Nixon had that, probably in a bad way. And I'm going to tell you, hopefully you remember some of this. It made international news. The other shoe is dropped. The former principal of Girls High now suing the Philadelphia School District, where she's still a principal, for racial discrimination. All straight ahead, Talk Radio 1210.
When you look at your kids or grandkids, you can't help but wonder. You wonder what their world will be like in 20 years. Then you think about yourself. What will your life be like when you step away from work and into retirement? There are a lot of things you can't control, but with the right planning, there are some things you can. At Spectrum Wealth Partners, our Portfolio X-Ray is designed to show you how you're doing so far and what your monthly income will look like in the future. In other words, they can take you from wondering to knowing. So take control of your financial future. Call today for a complimentary evaluation. 856-322-8686 or at SpectrumWP.com. And tune into The Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
Big news, Cherry Hill. The Hester Chevrolet family is expanding with our new location, Hester Chevy of Cherry Hill, formerly Mall Chevrolet. For over 40 years, the Hester Automotive family has been part of the Cherry Hill community. With over 600 vehicles available, Hester Chevy of Cherry Hill now offers one of the largest inventories of Chevy vehicles in the tri-state area. See why 2 Hester Chevy locations are even better than 1. Come visit Hester Chevy at the mall or always online at HesterChevyCH.com.
Your way or no way at Hester Chevrolet.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello. Today's cutting-edge appliances are technologically advanced with many features designed to make life easier. To ensure the appliances you choose accomplish that, it's important to compare and explore a variety of options at once. That's why at National Appliance Warehouse, we created an incredible showroom for customers to do just that. 6 times the size of an average chain store, our showroom is large enough to display the over 100 brands we sell. And I'm not the only guru. Our whole team of friendly professionals not only answer questions, but suggest questions to ask so that you end up with the perfect appliances for you.
The New Year's mega sale is underway at National Appliance Warehouse. Save on GE appliances. Earn up to $3,000 rebate with purchase of select customizable cafe appliance suites. Shop an unmatched collection of GE, Cafe, GE Profile, and Monogram appliances. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Have you recently had an HVAC tech at your home that you think was full of you-know-what, trying to sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need? Look, if your furnace or heat pump need to be fixed, we'll send one of our technicians out to do one thing: fix it. And if we do think you need a new furnace or heat pump, we'll send out one of our factory-trained teams to install state-of-the-art Trane heating system to keep you warm. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekans.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. When you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus by February 12th, you'll pay no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Welcome in. Side question today in honor of the, I think Fisher Pine tells me Richard Nixon would be 112 if he were alive today. Nixon's vocal pattern, voice, the combination of it. That's what we're looking for. Your all-time favorite, one you think is really distinctive. Now, we had this story of a woman that made international news. It was graduation season 2023. Principal Lisa Messi was not only the principal of Girls High, which used to be in the Philadelphia Public Schools, the girls' version of Central, and has fallen by the wayside based upon any number of metrics. And there, she was trying to have decorum at the graduation. It is Girls High, after all. And she told the student, now, this person was the person that other principals trained with. She was an icon. She told them that they were just to receive their diploma and warned them if there were outbursts during this, then they wouldn't be given their diplomas at that point. Well, one girl danced across the stage, another did this kind of pantomime thing, and the other, the parents went way over the top coming toward the stage, and those three, she said, nope, you are not going to get your diploma right now. You'll get it, and I think it was in almost short order that they did get it. Now, she's white. And even though this seems perfectly within reason, she was under fire big time. She's fired back now. She was removed from her job in a form of discipline and given a demeaning special assignment because she is white in retaliation for exercising her First Amendment right to refuse to appear at a public press conference and issue a public apology from the defendants in this, who are the ones that caused this. Girls High opened in 1848 as one of the nation's first public high schools for women, had an established rule and tradition of requiring its graduates to proceed formally across the stage without audience applause or shouting, according to the lawsuit. So they dumped her, wanted her to give the apology. The then school board president castigated her, saying it used antiquated norms and robbed the students of inclusive joy. There's that word again, inclusive, right? The assistant superintendent who supervised her said your actions demonstrated a lack of respect for the students and their families. It's my belief the practice is at best outdated, at worst, a practice that lacks an awareness of culturally responsive norms. Translation, race was involved here. I believe this woman will win. She was told, allegedly, this lawsuit says, by district spokesperson Monique Braxton, told the woman in a June 17th conversation, if you were a black woman, this would not be happening. Okay? So on and on it goes. Many of the comments directed at her were vulgar and obscene, even though the Girls High Alumni Association defended her, issued a statement supporting her. So what will happen here, I believe, is she'll win. She'll get a certain dollar amount, and the Philadelphia public schools will just go merrily on their way because ultimately all these lawsuits, all this money they pay out, the taxpayers pay it. They continue these sorts of tactics. So if you remember this, is it starting to come back to you? Made international news. And we've all been to graduations. You know, I think I get it, but I've seen stuff that just, it's either a formal ceremony or it's not. If you just want to make it, hey, do whatever the hell you want, okay, do that. But Girls High had a tradition of this. And again, how did these students suffer again? They got their diploma. They're the ones that called attention to themselves and aided and abetted this. And she had told them what the rules were. So to be taken out of that position and put into a clerical position. She's now a principal of another high school, less desirable, she says. It's just another example of what goes on here in Philadelphia. And that's why it made international news. People were not attacking her. They didn't say, oh, my God, this woman's nuts. They went after the fact that she was under death threats because she held to this line. So then why have a graduation? Why not just say, hey, show up, dress in any way that you want. We'll hand you your diploma. What's the big deal anyhow? Now, can you go too far? But there are too many graduations, first of all. The pre-K graduation, kindergarten graduation, going to middle school or going to junior high, and then that graduation, then high school. Is it something that is a lost thing? Just let them show up and give them their piece of paper saying, well, it's Philadelphia Public Schools. It's fraudulent, but it's a piece of paper that says, yes, you know something. Even though if you don't, it doesn't matter. All right, phone lines, 855-839-1210. You get on board. It's going to be really interesting to see if the L.A. fires have any lasting impact on how people view this. I think some people are thinking it will. Here's just one perfect example, though. This is cut 16. This is an L.A. news anchor. Humiliated, you would think, during this segment where he's saying none of this is true. None of this is true about the firefighters don't have water. It's all made up. Essentially, when I'm watching this guy, he's saying all you conservative, I can imagine talk radio out there, all that stuff, they're just making it up. This is what they always do. And at the very end of this news report, it's about 1:26, you'll hear the reporter not once but twice on the scene saying firefighters are telling me they don't have any water to put out the fires. Here's how it sounded.
Former L.A. mayoral candidate and real estate developer Rick Caruso criticizing the city's response to the windstorm and fires. He says officials should have been more prepared.
The real issue to me is twofold. We've had decades to go remove the brush in these hills that spreads so quickly. And the second is you got to have water. And my understanding is the reservoir was not refilled in time and in a timely manner to keep the hydrants going. So that's a failure, whether on DWP's part or another city agency. But this is basic stuff. This isn't high science here. And it's all about leadership and management that we're seeing a failure of. And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades. I know your signal's not the best, but Gigi, what can you tell us?
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block, and you may be able to make out the ember storm that we're in the middle of right now. This house is going to be a total loss. They have no water to put on this fire. They are standing by because they're trying to save the home that is next to it.
All right, so no water. Firefighters there, no water a couple times after this guy. It's a rear guard action. They're trying to tell us, A, this is climate, or B, you big mouse, nobody could do anything about this. And look, once this starts, it's difficult. Everybody realizes there's certain difficulties, but this is a failure of proportions. It is the most destructive in their history. It's possibly because they're nowhere near putting this out. That's the problem here. That's the bottom line. This is something that Gavin Newsom now has been swept up in, and this is going to hurt him. We'll see tape of this already, and the comparison is apt. Scott Jennings on CNN saying, let's see a split screen of what DeSantis has done in Florida versus what Newsom has done in California. And Newsom used that word when he was on with Anderson Cooper last night about whose problem is this, et cetera, talking about the folks. As soon as you hear folks, here's cut 7. This is Newsom. He's asked by Anderson Cooper on CNN why the fire hydrants have no water.
I do think there's a split screen here, too, with Florida, to be honest. A lot of what we talk about it in terms of emergency management in this country almost always comes from hurricanes and weather. And who is the recognized best emergency manager in the country? Ron DeSantis in Florida. So Newsom is also, he's under assault from Trump a little bit, but he's also dealing with, I think, a comparative here. What do other governors do? Is he as good? So when you talk about the future politics of it, is he as good at this as another governor might be, could be a real problem for him because, right now I think people have serious questions and there are no answers yet. He'll have a chance to answer them, but it doesn't look great right now.
All right, here is, Dan, the one I wanted. That's what Jennings said. This is Newsom being asked, I believe, by Anderson Cooper about why they don't have any water. Cut 7.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter on this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local.
Are we buying that? I don't think so. I don't think so. When you're here and you know what the number one or the principal problem that you have, fires, wildfires, that's what you have to worry about. They didn't come anywhere near doing it. It's not just that it's overwhelming. It's that they were overwhelmed because they were completely unprepared with all the billions they spent, because they're disgraceful, because they're DEI, up and down the line. They're clowns. And they can't handle it. It's not the local folks, and what do you expect? This is extraordinary. It's extraordinary because they've allowed it to become this extraordinary. Obviously, they would have some problem with this. They really have to work hard and bring resources in. But the devastation that we're seeing here, that's now they're projecting that it's 40% contained, Fox News is saying now. But this is a living memorial to progressivism, to what they are, to what the National Democrat Party is, and this is what you'll get with them. All right, let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to Scott in Mount Laurel, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Scott, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, good afternoon. I tell you, it's just so typical. The left, they're spending so much time on things that aren't important that even if they want to do the right thing, they don't have enough time to do it. They're spending time doing ridiculous stuff nonstop, worrying about all the, the color of everybody and the gender and all this. That if they would just spend the time in government doing what they were supposed to do, government would run a lot better.
Yeah, but that's not how you advance in the Democrat Party. You don't advance through merit, executive leadership on the basic type of stuff. You advance, like this woman did it to the head of the fire department, on DEI of being a lesbian who's out. Those are the things of advancement. So it's...
Well, hopefully people will realize.
Yeah, well, Karen Bass was the runner-up to Condoleezza Rice for the DEI to be vice president. She didn't get that, so they elected her against a competent guy, the billionaire, barely in L.A., and look at the result.
I mean, we've gone through this for years saying, look, we need people to make the connection between the negative things that happen and the people that they're voting for that are doing them. They're starting to make that connection. But like you said, without Trump to highlight it, we'll really have to work hard to try to keep that connection visible.
Yeah, and Scott, I'm being fair. I'll ask you. We'll start off with you. Let's bring it closer to home here. All right, so first black woman who's mayor in Philadelphia. We have that now. I maintain that Sherelle Parker would not allow her city to be in a situation like this. I don't see evidence of it. I think she's much more competent than that, would sweat the basic kind of stuff. So I'm not saying it's every person in that role, but I'm saying there's enough of them when DEI is the path that this is what you're going to get. Do you think Sherelle Parker would allow something like this?
No, I don't think so. I thought she sounded great in all the interviews she did with you before the election. Certainly sounded like she had a grasp of the issues and was competent. And I think she won because of that. And, how she's going to govern, if it was a ruse or not, I guess we'll find out in time, if the city gets cleaned up, because we know how to clean up crime. It's a question of whether they have the political will to do it.
Yeah, well, if it had been Helen Kim, on the other hand, it would be more devastating than this.
Right, and that's why Sherelle won, because people wanted someone who, would potentially clean things up.
Exactly. Who's your person, Scott?
Well, it's great to be here on the Dom Giordano program, and I am here with Phillies manager Charlie Manuel. Charlie, how would you sum up baseball? Well, like Harry, I can sum up baseball. Like in one word. And that one word is you never know.
Didn't know you had that in you, Scott.
Very good.
Oh, I love doing impressions.
Next time you're in the Phillies booth, you better whip out at HK.
Yeah, you're going to be in the Phillies booth this year. What do you think?
We'll see. We'll see what the price is. That Roger guy put that price through the roof.
Oh, okay.
That Progressive. I was like, okay, I got a much better deal. I'm like Trump. I like the good deal.
All right. Thank you, Scott. We hope you're in there. We're working that up already. The secret word to say. All right, 855-839-1210. You would think after something like this, like if the election were held in a couple weeks and it were Caruso against Bass, do I know for certain Caruso would win, the Republican billionaire who came fairly close? No, I don't. Breaking these patterns is not easy, despite the evidence that's in front of us. The media is already saying, have you no shame? You shouldn't be talking about something like this while it's happening. People are dead, destruction all over the place. When are we going to talk about it? When you hope we forget about it? Do I think Sherelle Parker, for example, would run a city like this or is running a city like this? No, I don't think Sherelle Parker is somebody like that. But there are any number. Danielle Outlaw was the face of DEI, the former police commissioner. Karen Bass was the runner-up to Kamala Harris to be vice president. And on it goes. Filling up women's handbags. We're seeing that today with some of the L.A. Fire Department in order to put out the fire. That's what they're reduced to because of the shortage of water. And do I see the people in charge, Newsom included, desperately trying to move heaven and earth on this? No. I think they're in a bubble that thinks this is not going to ultimately stick, and it may not. I don't know what it takes to break through on this, on just the competency issue. Yes, there are incompetent dopes that are Republicans, no doubt. But it's more the ideology that just drives itself toward the notion of that's the stuff that's secondary. It's a distraction. What we're going to do is we're going to put in DEI and we're going to fixate on that, and we don't care about anything else. All right, more of your calls are next. You're with Dom on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Gabe Rangel joining us, part of the Travis Manion Foundation, a Marine Corps expert parachutist. The parachute actually goes off automatically?
There's different type of platforms that you're jumping off and if you're pulling. So a halo jump is a high altitude, low opening, meaning you are pulling it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing normal about jumping out of a perfectly good plane.
Gabe Rangel served in the United States military, the Marine Corps, and making sure that our right tackle in Philadelphia is sound physically and mentally.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Is your kitchen or bathroom in need of a makeover?
It's time to transform your home into a personal oasis with Emmons Remodeling.
Our expert team specializes in kitchen and bathroom renovations, creating beautiful, functional spaces you and your family will love. We handle everything from design to installation.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano show. This is a question we all wrestle with, I guess, at funerals. But when you're former vice president, current president, former this, that, or the other. So today, as I said, the Bidens didn't pay much attention, didn't even look at Kamala Harris. Good indicator there. But several people, and I'm watching the footage as people come in, President Bush does not greet Donald and Melania Trump at all. He walks past that where Obama was sitting and gives him a loving belly tap. They're friendly.
A belly tap.
A belly tap.
Like a
yes.
belly bump? Like a
yeah.
Touchdown, jump in the air.
Yeah, something like that. And Karen Pence totally snubbed Trump and Melania Trump at the funeral where Mike Pence shook hands with President Trump. Now, we had a situation we're invited to the Clinton White House. DJ hated Bill Clinton at that point. I think he was 14. And we knew there was going to be a handshake thing involved.
I love that a 14-year-old just despised
Yeah. And told him, well, you got to shake a hand here. This is, you're shaking a hand to the office in a situation. Now, in the case of Karen Pence, though, given that Mike Pence was under fire where the Secret Service may have had to open fire on people that were coming after him potentially there. I could understand that. What's the line that you get to, even at a funeral? Now, I'll give you one other. It's just a miserable. I've told this story before. While Bill Guinier's family has me speak at his eulogy. It was such a big deal. I believe it was at the Academy of Music. That's how big of a deal it was. What a hero, Philadelphia, the whole thing. And Kenny's there, and he mustn't observe me. And he sits within a seat or two of me backstage. And I had all kinds of fancy chairs set up for the next in line of the eulogies. And either somebody whispered or it dawned on him. He gets up, looks around the room, makes sure everybody sees, and walks completely like 50, 60 feet to the other side of the room to sit down. You think, I'm not going to, at a funeral, you shouldn't be doing that. And I'm not going to say anything to him there. You can't. It's just ridiculous to engage in that at a ceremony like that. You have to have better manners.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. I just have
put it up
footage.
there. Yeah,
B-roll footage of Trump entering, shaking hands.
So, Dan, is there anybody you would? There are people out there in the world I could see that I wouldn't, even at a funeral, I wouldn't make a thing of it, but I just wouldn't. I'm not going to go near them. I'm going through a list in my head.
There's
here.
not really many people. Like the one that comes to mind is Krasner.
Okay, right.
It's tough because I feel he is intentionally doing harm to a local community.
Right. Yeah, his ideology, and he is beyond arrogant about it. That would be impossible. But with Harris, for example, we differ with her completely ideologically. I don't like how she got to where she did. But, we don't want to be like the other side saying Trump is Hitler, so you can't shake hands with him. then after the election's over. Like, I could shake hands with Josh Shapiro. I despise everything about the modus operandi and what he's doing. Yeah, Krasner's one. Henry, how about you? Anybody?
Most politicians, probably.
Okay. All right.
John Calipari.
I don't
yeah.
mind Cal.
Yeah.
I don't have a disdain for him as much as Scott and Mount Laurel does, or anyone like that.
But you wouldn't just because they're a politician.
Yeah, not my favorite line of work, I should say. And,
but if you're there, isn't it the office you're shaking hands with? If it's a president, for example,
if they've disgraced the office badly enough, I don't.
Okay,
think
all right. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What's the line here before you're? I mean, the polite thing to do is to try to avoid. The first rule is don't make a spectacle of it. Try to avoid being in that situation. Both people should try to do that, if possible, at a funeral. You got to try to do it.
Now, let me ask you this. On the other side of things, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, we're currently showing after Obama sat down, him and Trump very chummy, having a conversation, smiles back and forth. Is that too much?
It was too much. I think they were talking too much at the funeral. Yeah, I do. They were joking, talking and all. I don't like that at a funeral. No, not really. Now, I know there was a lull there before stuff happened. I don't think you ought to be doing that at a funeral. You do that after, the wake or before you sit down. But when you're sitting there in the church around this, probably not.
Yeah, real awkward moment as Bush enters and just walks right past Trump and Melania to give Obama a bump on the chest. And then everyone behind him being vice presidents, Gore, Pence, they all stand up and he goes right to them to shake hands after giving the belly bump to Obama.
Yeah, what's that up? What's the Bush thing with a sitting president-elect now, that he can't with Trump? What's so despicable about Trump to Bush? Well, Jeb Bush, is that what it is? I mean, he brought it on himself, though.
I think if you ask the never-Trumper-style Bushes out there, they'd say that Trump bastardized conservatism.
All right. Is that the sin, though? Is this like a tyrant or something like Krasner, where we're talking life and death here? I would, you know what? Here's what to do, Dan. You shake his hand, but then you're more pleasant with Obama. It's the belly. The two of you sit there and talk for a minute. And with Trump, you just give him a perfunctory handshake and move on. That I could see.
Well, is that not making a scene again? Like you just give him like a dead fish handshake, and then it's like, "Yo, Obama, what's up, dog?"
Well,
is that not making a scene? Like you're clearly playing favorites.
You did give him a chest, but but at least you're shaking Trump's hand. To walk right past him, and then Henry, you got the burden. The wife is there. What did Melania do to Bush?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, don't you have to shake the wife's hand if you want to make a statement there? You can't just bypass the wife.
Yeah, that's a good point,
right? It's like having a problem with Dan that week. I don't hug Macy at a thing. Come on. It's like, oh, no, she can't accept that because Dan and
not allowed to hug Dom when we go to this event, Macy.
Yeah, all right, remember that. No, Roe would. You know that. I couldn't coach her out of doing that.
I would never not hug Roe if we were
I know. Right.
Such a sweetheart.
You can't get her out of that no matter what. You got to avoid them. But when you're national leaders like that, and then you got Hillary sitting there with all of them. They all hate Hillary. I mean, every level, every one of them.
I don't think any of them shook her hand.
No, I didn't see anything with Hillary.
There was like a weird moment, too, where she sat down next to George, and there's like a, when you usually sit to someone that you have floated in circles in the past, even if you're not friendly with them, you kind of like acknowledge them.
Exactly.
Just complete ignoring one another. And
well, I noticed.
George later like leans over and makes a joke to both Bill and her and lightens things up, but you can tell there's some weight in the air when she sits down.
When they were escorted in, Kamala Harris is the second gentleman. Went in second. She went in first, and then she stopped and made him go to the end. I think they were trying not to have her sit next to Jill Biden, but the protocol was she's got to sit next to her. So those have to be, at that level, the intensity, where you have to be somebody you despise or you really don't like. I mean, I've been in events in situations like that. You just got to suck it up and get through it and not show the public there's anything particularly wrong with it.
During the break, I'm going to also bring up a clip of Kamala Harris when she sits down. She sees Trump and Obama chatting. You can see like her.
Well, yeah, she thinks it was inappropriate. On that, I kind of agree. What she did.
Before, Suze loves. Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah. All right.
Suze loves Jeffy, though. Just she tweets that it's before the funeral. You should be able to talk. Have your back and forth. No.
There in church, it was a little bit too much laughter and stuff going on, I think. You know what I mean? I think you do that in other places.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Tune in for Dom at Dark with Dom Giordano.
What
the
heck
hell is going on?
Lights are on out there. I hope we're not experimenting.
No. What?
Are we?
Yeah,
are we
weird.
experimenting with something in here again?
Yeah,
I don't like
no one's doing anything.
Lights,
That's a
the light
crazy
switch
thing.
is like dead. Like it's not even like coming back
yeah,
on.
something.
Here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. At least we're on air.
Somebody's experimenting.
No one's experimenting. We're looking around.
All right, so it's
someone forgot to pay the bill.
All right, so it's 855-8.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
They were. I was right again. There you go. That's right. They were experimenting with something. 855-839.
Are there any drones in the area?
That's 855-839-1210. If you have a comment on that, these public things are difficult for everybody involved. But what's the protocol? That and the side question. We have more coming up. Talk Radio 1210.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, at Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 12th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in in-demand fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills and credentials you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is a commercial for California Psychics, America's most trusted psychic network. So, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. No, really, this is it. You won't see your soulmate's face in the clouds or your career path mapped out in your cappuccino foam. This really is it. We could add some dramatic sound effects if you'd like. So what you waiting for? Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Unlock your savings potential in 2025 with a First Harvest Credit Union Growth Savings Account and earn as high as 3.25% annual percentage yield. Or check out competitive certificate and IRA specials. Earn more with flexible access to your funds. Visit firstharvestcu.com/growth savings or your nearest branch to open your account or to get details. First Harvest Credit Union, serving the Delaware Valley for 85 years. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When an injured worker left me a message that said, "You probably won't call me back, I'm just a nobody," I called him right back. Nobody's a nobody, and no one deserves a better firm than you.
He calls to tell me that he's been in an accident, and I'm just scared to death.
I couldn't have hoped for anybody better than Morgan & Morgan. It makes you feel like you're worth something.
It really did feel like family.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
The state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter was held in Washington this morning before he's laid to rest in Georgia. The Red Cross in our area is sending some disaster workers out west to help those affected by the LA wildfires. And SEPTA is putting up more signs designating Metro service by letters and colors.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Your Penn State Nittany Lions are in the Orange Bowl. Coverage starts tonight at 7 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
All right, it is Dom time. Welcome in. So the New York Post brings in a professional lip reader, Jeremy Freeman, and he says Trump is saying to Obama, I pulled out of that. It's the conditions. Can you imagine that? And after I will. Call me after this. We need to get a quiet place to talk. Obama, can you just? It should be good. Trump, I can't talk. We have to find a quiet place sometime. This is a matter of importance. We need to do this outside so that we can deal with it, certainly today. Oh, man. Can you imagine? But Obama did look very engaged with him. Meanwhile, a federal appeals court in New York has turned down the Trump appeal to block the New York sentencing tomorrow. Now it goes on to the Supreme Court, where the Trump people are asking them to block it. Hard to know what they may do in this. You know what it's about. It's spite. Just trying to have that felon tag on Trump when he takes the oath of office. All right, big game coming up this weekend with the Eagles, and the big year where they can go to the Super Bowl. And we have I just saw this, DJ sent it to me, the death of a former, Archbishop Brian Great, then University of Maryland. And he was a guy who was pretty unique. I think they called him an H-back at the time. He played for Tennessee mainly, Frank Wycheck. And he died. After he died, they took a look at his brain. And they report today he had stage 3 of the degenerative brain disease, CTE. He had at least 25 concussions, the family said, during his career. He struggled to find stability in his life after he retired, often telling his daughter it felt like his brain had a thick brick wall inside that stopped his will to follow through with anything. Now, again, I mention it all the time, and making peace with it. When you see a guy like this locally who was that known around this, we know with the players today, he didn't quite know the year he played. I think he was 52, so this was some years back. These guys today certainly have to know about this risk factor. And maybe that's how we're able to, at least for me, I'll speak for me, watch and not think about that much. Henry, do you ever think about that, or how do you get by that?
What, the CTE?
Yeah.
I just choose not to think about it. I think everyone's brain is
Right.
going to react differently to getting hit repeatedly over and over again. It's going to be different for everybody. So I don't think you can take too much stock in, just the whole sport as in its entirety, because everyone's different.
So you encourage your kids to play.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, just one metric that's factual I would put in, and that's why I come down that side. And Dan asked a great question. That's where I was going to go, too. They know it's 33 to 38% are going to end up with CTE of some form or another, probably in their 40s or early 50s. So it's pretty established, and it is football more than any sport.
I'm not saying it's not like a thing, but I'm saying you did say like a third of the players will probably end up with something, but you're just kind of hoping you're that other 2/3.
Yeah, but watching this gives me, because I know what's going to happen.
But you don't. You don't necessarily know.
I know 1/3 of them are, yeah.
Sure.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is. I'm not saying
it's not like, look, if they walk, they can't run when they're done playing or bend over too easily. You got a lot of money, suck it up, you have to deal with this. This is a price.
And it's like issues like that where I think players go like, oh, it's the CT, it's my brain, not, firing on all cylinders. I think a lot of, I don't want to say CT is like overhyped, but I think a lot of players just, they have debilitating stuff after they retire, down the line, and they want to blame, CTE brain injuries when I don't think that's necessarily always the case.
They have their brain. They have their brain they're looking
at.
Well,
in Wycheck's case, obviously, it's cut and dry.
Well, a lot of them. They have about 1,000 brains now over the course.
So according to that JAMA study, it was 99% of brains from deceased NFL players and 91% of deceased college football players there was found CTE.
See, I don't know about the college thing, but
high
that's
school,
what they
found.
It was
21% to Henry's point.
So you would let them play high school football?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dan?
If my child came to me and with a desire, then sure, I'd let him do it, but I wouldn't push him towards it.
Okay. Yeah. I would really try to dissuade. DJ and Luke were basketball. I didn't have to deal. We didn't know about it then either, though.
Well, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
If there's 21% of high school football players get CTE,
right?
What if I told you 17% of the time you drink red wine, you might get cancer?
Yeah. Well, if you could prove that, then I have to look at that. Boy, working that into it won't let it up. You know, it's so bad. I was even thinking of trying white wine this week, and then I thought, what the hell, white wine? Give me a break. I would never be caught.
Call back there.
Dan, you were a white wine drinker,
I'm a huge white wine drinker.
Oh, my God.
Last night I actually had some grapefruit Moscato from a local winery that you and Ro love. It was really good.
Oh, over in Hamilton.
Yeah, it starts with a T.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tomasella. They're great folks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Blueberry Moscato. Where'd you
get it?
I
had a grapefruit Moscato. It was good.
Oh, grapefruit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm?
By the way, I had your tea last night. It was excellent.
Yeah, you liked it?
Oh, yeah.
Good. I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy you
liked
liked it.
Very good. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, Henry, then you sticking to your guns here, though. They can play high school football.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's a different. Like, if you've ever played against someone who's going to play, Division I football, or like this guy's the man. They move faster. They move on a different plane than everyone else. So obviously their hits are going to be a lot worse than you would see on the average football field, high school.
Well, I mean, I contend from what I see, the problem is you're never going to be safe in the NFL.
No,
it's not so much just their size; they move too fast, and colliding at that speed, you're always going to have.
Everyone's the best athlete in the country,
right? And you're going to have CTE in numbers that are appalling.
I agree. It's just, but that's what the risk.
It's harder and harder for me to watch that. Really,
I take issue with something Henry just said.
Yeah,
I don't know if football players are the best athletes in the country.
They're not. Pro basketball players are.
Yeah.
Well, that's my view.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, who are?
Football players. If
pro wrestlers,
we'd be so much better at every other sport if we cut out football. I mean, soccer included. Like that would make soccer relevant in the United States, as if we had these great athletes going to play on the pitch.
Yeah,
instead of
Lane
the
Johnson
gridiron.
going to play soccer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I still think pro basketball players, just look at them versus football players. It's a big difference, really. All right, you can get in. Does that trouble you? I mean, it's going to be enormous this weekend, the numbers, and particularly with the team. We have a radio station just built on this. It's a sports station. But in Philadelphia, could there be any place where football is more revered? It just fits beautifully. But you see a guy like Wycheck now, you see this constantly, CTE, which it's not so much just at the end of life. It's what happens to them as they degenerate. They could be suicidal. They just can't do anything else, et cetera. What a risk. And if you know that now, well, at least you're informed. 855-839-1210.
And what's the chance that someone makes it to the NFL? I mean,
right.
Like when you get to the level of making tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, it's hard for me to feel bad for a lot of people, to be quite honest.
Well,
I feel at that rate you're paying someone to put their bodies on the line.
Yeah, I agree with putting your body on the line.
But when you're talking
I don't
college
agree with putting your
and
brain on the line. That I just get really worried about. Yeah. The rest of your body, you're right. That's what you're paid for. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the college level, the stat you had, Dan, that's the thing. I don't know if I buy that number had CTE at the college level.
I can buy that, just the amount of good athletes that are coming through with the 5-year player window now. All the JUCO transfers not affecting their eligibility. The talent pool has gotten so much greater in the last I don't know how many years.
That's a lot.
But they're they're catching up to the NFL. I don't want to say they're on that level. They're not even close, but they're slowly moving that way in terms of speed, athleticism, all that.
So that was I just want to say that I'm sorry. The report I was referring to was the JAMA Medical Journal report that came out of University of Boston a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, that's the center for this.
Yeah, our Boston University CTE center. So 91%.
I guess because this is such a nasty disease. Again, when you see somebody who was a former player, they can't think. They might be suicidal. They're depressed. Their movements. It's the worst of dementia, Lou Gehrig's disease for years, it seems like. All right, 855-839-1210. You get in. We're coming to you next on Talk Radio 1210.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk about prices. At National Appliance Warehouse, we have billions in buying power that we leverage in order to pass dramatic savings to our customers. We're passionate about offering the lowest price, so we developed Price Assured to ensure we always are. Price Assured uses powerful technology to scan chain store prices online and make sure ours is lower. Because Price Assured is connected to electronic tags throughout the showroom, it's able to update them instantly if an adjustment is needed. Our customers enjoy great service that rivals that of a small independent. While shopping with confidence, they're seeing the lowest possible price.
The New Year's mega sale is underway at National Appliance Warehouse. Save on GE appliances. Earn up to $3,000 rebate with purchase of select customizable cafe appliance suites. Shop an unmatched collection of GE, Cafe, GE Profile, and Monogram appliances. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor. Every Saturday afternoon at 5, I talk with doctors and medical specialists from around the country to discuss the latest information about heart disease, cancer prevention, topics in women's health, pediatrics, mental health, and more. Then you can make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Your radio doctor, Saturdays at 5, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, because your health is your wealth.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's hear this tiger purr, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
When the market reaches all-time highs, investors who try to sell high are met with the same excuses from their broker. You're in it for the long haul. Stay the course. Don't sell now, you'll miss out on opportunity. But crash-proof consumers have not missed out on the recent market highs.
Kathleen Ralco from Langhorne, PA. I haven't missed out on growth opportunity this year. As a matter of fact, we've capitalized on it with crash-proof. With the crash-proof retirement system, we've gotten over 10% this year. The market can still go down, but I don't lose any of that money. And it's no fees charged to that. I'm getting the benefits of the stock market, but I don't have the downsides to it. It's not too good to be true. We're living proof of it.
You don't have to wait until our next event to start your crash-proof retirement educational process. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Your Penn State Nittany Lions are in the Orange Bowl. Coverage starts tonight at 7 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show, 855-839-1210. Roger Stone coming up at 2 o'clock. Advisor to Nixon. This is Nixon's birthday. Would have been 112. That's the side question today. And we'll ask him about President Trump and what he sees going forward. Dom's Money Melody, really interesting one today. We'll get to that also. Let's try Joe in Bordentown, though. Hey, Joe, good afternoon. What do you have today?
Good afternoon. My answer to the side question is Norm Macdonald. And one time he was guest hosting for on the Dennis Miller radio show.
Yep.
And I called in, and he said I sounded like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely. There's a definite accent issue there. I would agree with that. All right. Joe in Columbus. Back-to-back Joes. Joe, who do you have?
You got to keep following me up from Joe from Bordentown. Yeah. That's a hard follow-up, Dom. Can I talk about these Palisades fires for a
Sure, go right ahead.
It's nothing short of pure negligence. And outside the obvious warnings Trump gave Newsom, and, there's obvious things. I worked in California for 3 months after the 89 earthquake, and it's a fact. Everything from San Jose south, California is a desert, number one. Number two, all they had to do was monitor the reservoir out there in Nevada that feeds Los Angeles and Lake Tahoe. I forget, it slips my mind, but they saw that reservoir dropping. It's down 70, 80 feet now.
Well, and they had, Joe, to your point, they had an inordinate amount of rain last year, and they just allowed it to dissipate.
Yeah.
The problem is
to capture or contain it, Dom.
You don't have any Republican there. Criminal negligence is the way to go here, to charge somebody or a bunch of them with that. That's the only way you can do anything.
And wasn't it Trump that was warning them? They said decades ago, you better do something about this now. In addition to getting rid of all the scrub brush and everything, there's a myriad of proof and evidence here that it was negligence and nothing but negligence.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't know of anybody in power, though, who would charge them with that, Joe. And the taxpayers will end up paying for the rebuild, and then plus whatever people win in a civil suit, it'll be billions upon billions.
Right. Yeah, we pay for others' mistakes, absolutely.
Who's your person?
My guy, although I can't quite understand his cadence most of the time, is Christopher Walken.
That is a very interesting one when it comes to cadence. Not like Nixon, but a cadence, definitely. So, all right, Joe, thank you for that. Let's take Chris in South Jersey. Chris, who's yours?
Hey, Dom, mine is the incomparable Paul Harvey with his famous closing line of, and that is the rest of the story.
Absolutely. Harvey's so popular, they used to put him on at noon for the first 15 minutes of talk radio. I was at WWDB when they did it. All right, we'll take more on that. Roger Stone is next. We'll have a couple of other things, too, coming up this hour. Here's how you get in. 855-839-1210. You get on board. The outcome in L.A., will people actually now think about this the next time they vote? You had a viable Republican there. This guy Caruso, who's a business guy, was successful, is kind of a slightly moderate conservative Republican billionaire. And he did well, but they still put a complete DEI person in there, and Karen Bass, who did not get the vice presidential role. So they said, okay, let's put her in to be the mayor of L.A., where she's from. You see what the results are. It's not only her. It's the whole infrastructure there, including Newsom on down, the fire commissioner, just at any level. They're not about protecting you. You couldn't possibly have confidence. So why do people vote for that? Well, they believe it'll never come down to that. They want to vote for somebody who ideologically they agree with. They agree with DEI. They think that's the way to go. You see what the results are. How can anyone deny what the results are? You still want to vote for it, okay. Don't deny the results. Well, it's climate. Really? Climate didn't fill up the reservoirs? 855-839-1210.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. If you're a fan of saving money, listen up.
Right now, get 50% off all window styles. Plus, you could get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Sale ends January 31st, so schedule your consult now at 866-90NATION or at windownation.com. Tell them you heard it on WPHT.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
Score the winning touchdown at Borgata during the Big Screen Blitz. Earn entries for your chance to be one of the lucky winners to get an 85-inch Samsung Smart TV, valued at $1,100. Drawings every Saturday, now through January 25th. Score big during the Big Screen Blitz. Only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Dawn Stensland here. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. Sleek new designs and innovative features with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Dr. Marty McCary. First of all, I got to tell you off the record, my kids have lice. Any advice?
There is a good protocol for lice, but it's a lot more common than people think.
So I'm not going to die or anything, right?
You're going to live.
He's a world-renowned surgeon at Johns Hopkins, and you're wasting his time talking about lice.
That seems like the most apt thing to ask a professor of medicine.
Exactly. I loved his answer. He's like, yeah, it's really common.
Like, shut up. Why are you asking me this? My time is valuable. Rich Cioli, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app. On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. I mean, who else would you like to have on the anniversary of the death? Well, this would be the birthday of Richard Nixon. 112 he would have been today. And we played his voice. That's a side question. But somebody who was such an advisor to him, it's rumored that he does have the tattoo of Nixon. I never got to see it when we did a Politics in Pints with Roger Stone. But I did see great fashion up close and personal. I don't think anybody has more pinstripe suits and more martinis than Roger Stone, who is still one of the great advisors. And what's that documentary? Is the title? I didn't look at it, Dan. Is it Who's Roger Stone?
Get me Roger Stone. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, but there are 3 parts. Who's Roger Stone? Get Roger Stone. Who was Roger Stone? All right. He's with us here on Talk Radio 1210. Roger, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us.
Dom, great to be back with you. You almost had it. It is, who is Roger Stone? Get me Roger Stone. Get me a Roger Stone type. Who is Roger Stone? The four cycles of fame.
Which one? Go ahead, Roger.
It's great to be back with you again. It is fitting because today January 9th in 1913, the most durable American politician in American history, the man who, prior to Trump, had staged the greatest political comeback in American political history, Richard Nixon, was born. It is a great irony that the many accomplishments of Nixon are basically completely overlooked in the ashes of Watergate. And now, as more and more documents become declassified, we learn that the CIA was well aware of the Watergate break-in plan, had infiltrated it with 4 active agents. And the big media, who had hated Nixon since he nailed Alger Hiss as a Russian communist spy in the House, were complicit in the takedown. It was very similar to what they tried to do to Trump and failed.
There are parallels, but the difference is this, Roger. I think Nixon is more amazing. I never was up close with him like I've been with Trump and a few of these other guys, in that how could a guy, Monica Crowley's different, and I'll ask you this, that's socially awkward, brilliant beyond belief, coming from a poor background, not once but twice. Really, he won the presidency 3 times. It was stolen, truly, in 1960. And he had to contend with the Kennedys, and yet he beat them.
And he won the greatest landslide to this date in American history.
Yes.
The only man to carry 49 of 50 states. Once the most popular president in history, and then within a year brought low by Watergate. It has to do with his personal tenacity, his discipline. He was an introvert in an extrovert's business. He was not graceful like John Kennedy or comfortable in old skin, but he was dogged. He was persistent. He played college football, spent most of his time on the bench. When he did play, he was a tackle dummy, but he did it with great enthusiasm. Nixon also, by the way, played the piano, the organ, the violin, the saxophone, the clarinet, and the accordion, but had never had any musical training and could not read music, but was proficient on all of them.
Wow, that is stunning stuff. So when did you start to advise Richard Nixon?
Well, I didn't know him. I worked in his 1972 campaign. I was the youngest member of the committee to reelect the president, but that's not the period in which I got to know him. I met him once at that time, famously shook his hand the way Bill Clinton shook John Kennedy's hand at Junior Achievement or Youth State or whatever it was. But in his post-presidential years, he had invited me to San Clemente when I was elected Young Republican National Chairman in 1977. And I predicted to him then that Ronald Reagan, not John Connally, would be the presidential nominee in 1980. Nixon told me I was wrong. I said, no, I'm right. Well, he remembered the conversation and invited me back. And then when John Whitaker, who had been a vice president at IT&T and kind of handled Nixon's scheduling and some political obligations, retired, Nixon asked me if I would assist his chief of staff, then John Taylor, kind of doing political chores, evaluating, speaking engagements, passing messages to senators and congressmen. I spent a good amount of time in Saddle River and on his house in the Upper East Side. Nixon was a man who wasn't very retrospective. It was hard to get him to talk about Kennedy or Eisenhower or Hubert Humphrey or Alger Hiss or getting stoned in Caracas or the 62 campaign for governor. But after he had a couple cocktails, martinis, he would become very, very loquacious, and you could learn many things. It was in a conversation that I first began to fully believe that Lyndon Johnson played a malicious role and was probably according to my book, I think, make the case, the chief architect of the murder of John Kennedy.
Wow. But Roger, now parallels with advising Donald Trump. How do you advise Donald Trump? How do you take the good? We have Bill O'Reilly on the show. We're friends, Roger, and he says he's had conversations with Trump where Trump says he wants to be a Mount Rushmore president, asking O'Reilly in the second term, how do I do that? That's a great stride. That Trump that focuses is amazing. How do you keep him, though, on track?
It's really pretty simple. They're very, very different. Nixon, it was very buttoned down. There was a very tight operation around him. Access to him was limited in his presidential years, and I knew him best in his post-presidential years. Obviously, Trump is very much his own man. He's not handled. He's not managed. He's not scripted. He does it his way, as Sinatra would say. And it has brought him the greatest comeback in American political history. I mean, I think his winning and winning this big is a testimony to his grit and his stamina and his courage and his strength, his persistence, his resilience. And I really believe America could be on the cusp of a new golden age. We'll call it the age of Trump, an age of unprecedented peace, prosperity, security, and justice, along with law and order. I really think America's greatest days are ahead because he's won this election.
Without a doubt. I'm reading some of your stuff going after rhinos, and you have a curious target, at least the public persona, but I hear your point with the senator from Oklahoma, big guy who was going to fight the head of the Teamsters or one of those unions. You see him as just a poser.
Well, I mean, Mark Wayne Mullen was smart enough to endorse Donald Trump early. So he, but other than that, in truth, he voted for John Thune, the rhino majority leader, who I don't think is a tough enough negotiator, over Rick Scott, senator from Florida, a Trump loyalist. He has this kind of macho man image. He continues to defend this Capitol Hill police officer who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt was an unarmed U.S. Air Force combat veteran, decorated veteran, menacing no one, shot and unarmed and shot and killed without warning. And Senator Mark Wayne Mullen continues to defend that, which I think is indefensible. That to me, that's cold-blooded murder. There was no triggering event. I think she was shot and killed at random. And I just think that he's not really who he claims to be. He claims to be, a Trump guy, but at first he says he's not Prakash Patel, a crucial nominee for FBI director. Then after pressure, he backs off. Then he says he doesn't like Matt Gaetz, but then suddenly he likes Matt Gaetz, even though Matt Gaetz withdrew. So, I think he's playing a role. The guy was a plumber. He's never been in combat, but he's got this swashbuckling image that he's cultivated. He won this seat by taking a TV ad that Trump had made for him when he's running for re-election in the House, swamping the air with it, giving people the impression that Trump had endorsed him. Trump likes him. He's kind of the big bluff guy Trump likes, particularly when he's blowing smoke up Trump's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So, Roger, for listeners, what's Roger Stone doing now? I see you read you on Substack. I see you on Twitter. What are you up to?
Well, I'm very active. I mean, I have a daily show, which you can see on rumble.com called the Stone Zone. It's every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I also do a syndicated radio show out of 77 WABC in New York. And Red Apple Audio Network. We're on now in most major markets in the United States. I do 3 hours a week on politics, news, history, style, food, everything we feel like talking about any given week. Mostly politics, of course.
Yeah, but I got to ask you, your biggest fashion tip. You've always impressed me with that, and you've written a lot about it, the worst dressed and the best
I think
dressed.
It was Get Me Roger Stone that gave me the confidence to wear pastel suits, to be quite honest.
But Roger, I got to tell you, I don't see Tucker Carlson as a fashion icon, and I think you did recently. Come on now.
No, look, Tucker Carlson's got kind of what we call an Ivy League spezzatura. Spezzatura is an Italian term that means it looks like you haven't thought about what you're putting on, but it still looks pretty good. So he's not aspiring to be a dandy, He throws together all these kind of Ivy League classics: the blue blazer, the khaki slacks, the red duck pants. He got rid of his bow ties, which I've argued with him about. I like them, but he abandoned them. But I think he's got his own kind of preppy, super preppy look.
And you heard my producer. You heard my producer Dan. So the pastel suit.
All right, I got to ask Roger a question
go ahead.
because you have a big bone to pick with Brian Kilmeade and others on Fox News for the whole look that I perpetuate, that the suit pants with a pair of sneakers. Roger Stone, can you pull off sneakers with suit pants?
Yeah, I'm not. It's true. Look, every man has to have his own style. What you decide to wear is obviously completely up to you. And at least you're wearing good-looking suits. I'm not down with the sneakers. I think it's a fashion faux pas. So everyone can kind of do their own thing.
I appreciate
It's about developing an independent style. I don't expect everybody to dress like me. Not everybody should dress like you. You got to kind of do your own thing. It's about having your style, but it's about doing it with style. It's like,
I think we can all agree that the world would be a better place if everybody did dress like Roger Stone on a regular basis.
Oh, well, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Imagine football games with that'd be great.
Well, Roger, glad to hear Rumble, Substack, all over the place.
And then, of course, you can go to stonezone.com. That's my headquarters.
Okay.
Stonezone.com. You can find it all right there.
Roger, thank you. Thanks for coming on today, as always.
God bless you, and get ready to make America great again.
Thank you. Nixon impersonation there at the end with it. Oh, my God.
I actually pulled from the Jack Parr Show, Dom.
Yes.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Richard Nixon, such a good musician. He actually wrote piano concertos. Here's Richard Nixon performing on the piano. His piano concerto #1 on the Jack Parr Show. Take a listen. He's playing piano right now.
Can you imagine, Dan? He said he played 6 instruments. I didn't know that about Nixon.
It's impressive.
I can't read enough about Nixon. I just finished another biography. He's just brilliant. The Kennedys did him in, and Lyndon Johnson, and yet still 2 times president of the United States. And look, Trump, you can see why. Trump is a natural for this. But Nixon, my God. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. Hit us with that all-time vocal style, a la Richard Nixon. Today would have been 112. But first, it is time for... Whoops.
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
All right, we are playing today for a pair of tickets to the Philadelphia Auto Show at the Pennsylvania Convention Center, January 11th to 20th. For tickets and more information, visit phillyautoshow.com.
All right, so today, Dom, we're asking for distinct voices, and Henry and I spent way too long trying to find one that would work for this.
Way too long.
Yeah, okay. we wanted a distinct voice that very distinct, but maybe not so much in this particular instance. Take a listen. We want to know who's singing today.
The jungle VIP, I've reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me. I want to be a man cub, stroll right into town, be just like the other men. I'm tired of monkeying around.
We want to know who the singer is today, Dom.
Hit us with that singer, and you're off to the Great Philly Auto Show coming this weekend. Here's how you do it. 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. You get on board.
Can't learn to be like someone like you. Now don't try to kid me, man.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage-as-a-service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/purestorage.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and to take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, customers like Jeremy trust us to connect them with only the best. In fact, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us. So we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free.
I feel like she really kind of made a connection with me. She knew something about my personality, knew a little bit about me. Now I'm really confident about getting out there and just getting it done.
Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. That's a real deal you don't want to miss. So join Jeremy and experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Get insights on the go. Download the California Psychics app today.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's the Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That's right. We're looking today for who is singing this song that has a distinctive style, vocal arrangement, etc. Let's hear the clue.
Now give me the secret man cub. Come on, clue me what to do. Give me the power of man's red flower so I can be like you. Oh, ooby-doo, I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you, talk like you too.
All right, let's go to Gary in Springfield. Let's see out of the box if he gets it. Gary, who's singing there?
Hey, Dom, is it Christopher Walken?
Yes, it is. Yeah. All right, pretty distinctive. All right.
I love how excited Gary is. It's
yeah,
great.
Exactly. Gary, nice play. You are off to the Philadelphia Auto Show. Pair of tickets at the Pennsylvania Convention Center, January 11th to the 20th. Tickets and more information, visit PhillyAutoShow.com. All right, side question today. Distinctive, like Christopher Walken. Style, vocal, not just a good voice, but something distinctive is what we're looking for. Now, yesterday, and I want to play John Fetterman again from yesterday because there's an update on this whole thing. The Laken-Riley Act, they did find enough Democrats now to go along with it, to sponsor it. It will be before the Senate, I think, now or shortly. The House has already passed it, even though 3 women in the suburbs here, congresswomen, reject it, protecting particularly women from this alien invasion, illegal invasion, people that killed Laken-Riley. All it would do is keep them in jail until we're ready to deport them. Here's what Fetterman said, then I'll tell you the update from Houlihan, Congresswoman Houlihan. Here's Fetterman talking to Brett Baer, cut 1.
So what do you say to that? You've signed on to this bill.
Oh, well, I mean, I have a lot of enormous respect for my colleague in the House, but I just happen to disagree on this. And for me, just like my friend and colleague in the Senate, like, it's really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend to allow them to remain in our nation after that? And now, if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
All right, so that's Fetterman. We played that yesterday. Since then, they have it, so it's going to move forward in the Senate. I also now have the statement. Madeline Dean and Mary Gay Scanlon know the local media is not going to make a big deal out of it. I don't know what they do make a big deal out of. When you realize that this passed overwhelmingly, we now have Democrats who have signed on, so it comes to a vote, to Fetterman's point, that Boyle, Congressman Boyle from from Philadelphia, voted for this bill to protect us from those that mean criminal behavior and or killing you that are here illegally. Then why does the local media not zone in on someone like Houlihan, who put out this statement? There's a reason why H.R. 29, the Laken-Riley Act, is the first bill we're voting in this Congress, and it's not immigration reform. Here we go again with the typical dodge, comprehensive immigration reform. She says that H.R. 29 is carefully written to intentionally erode constitutional protections, beginning with undocumented immigrants. In other words, this clown in Chester County, you voters there, is not only saying she's against this because it's unconstitutional for people that are here illegally, but this is the Republican road to taking away our rights. Something that would keep these people in jail for crimes they've committed, not let them out, as happened in the case of these 2 guys in Georgia who killed Laken Riley, until we deport them. They're here illegally. That's going to erode your rights. More importantly, talk radio is the only one in this area. Maybe the Inquirer might write it and like it, but the rest of the media doesn't think people should be informed on this. This is a big vote. This is a very telling thing. To the point of Fetterman, that's what the last election was about. You would think this would be a matter of debate. She goes on to say, I encourage people to read the text, which clearly shows how the bill removes the right to due process. Trump promised these kinds of dangerous changes, and the Republicans in Congress are desperately trying to satisfy him, regardless of the implications of their legislation. This bill is not about immigration reform, and that's why I voted no. We need immigration reform legislation, which I have supported time and again. I will continue to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to craft, support, and pass legislation. Common sense, here we go again, immigration reform. All right, could it be out in Chester County? It's not just her, but it's some Republicans, and it's the people that are the Chester County Development Board, the business operation there. We heard from Neil Young, who ran against her yesterday, that when they sat him down for endorsement, one of the first things they asked, well, we have a lot of people working here that are undocumented migrants. We don't want to ruffle that, right? Is that what it is? Everybody's in on this together. And if one of those people out there in Chester County, the mushroom farms and the like, if they're a drunk driver and kill someone, or if they are criminally involved, they commit some crime, they don't care. Isn't that what they're telling you? We heard from Neil Young. Where are the other voices? Now, with Madeline Dean, she didn't even answer. Neither did Mary Gay Scanlon. Again, doesn't it come back to both the media, the Republican Party, and just the voters? Are they unaware of somebody, John Fetterman, 6 other Democrat senators voted to move this along in the Senate. Any number of them have voted for it, like Brendan Boyle in Northeast Philadelphia. And yet somehow or another, a simple act, we're calling it the Laken-Riley Act, because we want to emphasize this. This young woman was savagely attacked. They ended up killing her by hitting her over the head with a giant rock or something after she fought them off. They never should have been here. They never should have gotten out of jail once we got them. They should never have been traveling around, emigrating to Georgia through the Biden administration. And we ought to be hell-bent to stop every one of them and get every one of them out of the country. But no, that would take away their constitutional rights. Just imagine this maniac in the face of the death of Laken Riley telling us we're just trying to steal constitutional rights. And even worse, the cabal out there in Chester County, these people who think they're insulated from this, to say, yeah, we're fine with that. We need these people on those mushroom farms and whatever else they're doing out there in Chester County. So we don't care what you say. We're going to continue to do this. And guess what? We have ample number of Republicans that are going to look the other way, which brings us to the big moment. I know it feels like forever. It's only a week away from Monday. When Trump is sworn in, comes out today that he's going to do 100 executive orders on the first day. That's what the news seems to be. And one of them will go back to that policy 42 to keep people in Mexico vis-a-vis COVID, the irony of it. But what is in the mind? Is it the people in the suburbs just don't have time to hear this stuff because of media? How much media coverage is there? Unless you listen to talk radio, the Inquirer puts it in a completely different way. You wouldn't know that Houlihan boldly is trying to tell people they're better off if they're not protected from these menaces. Particularly, I'm zoning in on Chester County. That might have the highest number of people, I'm not sure about that, per capita, that might be here illegally, just because of the industries that are there. I don't know, there might be industries in Bucks County. More so than that. But I immediately think of the farming, the mushroom, the whole deal. And when Neil Young said that yesterday, he's a listener too, the guy that ran against her, when he did the interview with them, to get the endorsement, that's what they want to know. They seem to want to know, well, you're not going to be ruffling the feathers here of what we have going. We need these people. You're going to hear that when the deportation starts. Why in the world, Houlihan? And then to lecture us. Now, Guy Shiraki wrote a great piece. Guy Shiraki's unbelievable in the research about Houlihan. And he says that Houlihan is the classic, she has that Liz Cheney face, my words, and she's constantly embodying so-called moderation, consensus building, the tonality, the sound. But he says Houlihan worked in the private sector and belonged to the Problem Solvers Caucus. She is breathlessly loyal, though, to Biden, as Casey is. She's even worse. She voted with Biden 99.1% of the time. 99.1%. And he talks about Houlihan, main claim to fame, working as an executive at a sneaker operation that brought things in from communist China, just like Madeline Dean, the husband, with the bikes from communist China. This is classic. Have people in the suburbs just become dumb? They're so busy earning a living because of inflation, Biden and all. They don't have time and their sensibilities. Now, look, I blame the Republican parties in a lot of these places. They sometimes suck. Got to tell you that. They're ineffective. Over in Delaware County, I mean, I like the guys when Dan gets them on, some of these guys, but I don't think they're an effective party. They just raised taxes by 23%. What's in the water there that they can effectively take back the suburbs, at least to some degree? They're overwhelmed in the suburbs. Even Bucks County, it's 2-1. I mean, look at Marseglia. Look at the stuff she was boldly enough to say. But this Houlihan vote is even worse. Do you feel your constitutional rights, they're trying to take them away, and this is just the start? They come for the illegal aliens today. It'll be you tomorrow. That's what Republicans are up to. That's what she's saying. When really what it is, we're trying to protect people until Trump has a chance to turn this around. This battle is going to be fought big time. All they're waiting for is some scene with some child, with something that happens, and then they're going to hope to stop Trump in his tracks. You may remember this was the separation of children thing and all that, exactly what Obama did at the beginning of the Trump term. In 2017, it happened. Catholic Church jumps in, wants to excommunicate people. Not going to be easy to do this stuff. Not going to be easy to build a wall. You got to start this time around. I think Trump gets that right from the opening gong. But it would help if the local Republican parties could use something. I see this as an issue that you got to be nuts to be on the other side of. Are they that insulated in horse country, though? They don't feel anything's going to happen to them, so who cares what these people that are here illegally do to the rest of us? Is that it? Does it have to hit home before you say, you know what? This woman's dead just because they're here. That's exactly what happened. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. Get in on the side question 2 here on Talk Radio 1210.
Temperatures will remain well below average as we finish off the work week. Plenty of sunshine today. It will be windy. High up around 33, but feeling much colder with the wind. Very cold tonight again. Mostly clear, low 22 for the city, colder in the suburbs. For Friday, increasing clouds, but less windy. High up around 38, and then watch out for light snow breaking out late at night.
Weather is sponsored by Meineke. When you step on your brakes, do you hear a squeal or a grinding noise? Don't wait. Take your car to your locally owned and operated Meineke, and their expert technicians will diagnose the problem. Find a location near you at Meineke.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Big news, Cherry Hill! The Hester Chevrolet family is expanding with our new location, Hester Chevy of Cherry Hill, formerly Mall Chevrolet. For over 40 years, the Hester Automotive family has been part of the Cherry Hill community. With over 600 vehicles available, Hester Chevy of Cherry Hill now offers one of the largest inventories of Chevy vehicles in the tri-state area. See why 2 Hester Chevy locations are even better than 1. Come visit Hester Chevy at the mall or always online at HesterChevyCH.com.
Your way or no way at Hester Chevrolet.
Drive off in your dream car with an auto loan from American Heritage Credit Union. We're proud to offer low rates and flexible terms to ensure you're getting the vehicle you truly want. Lock in with low monthly payments and terms up to 84 months. Or if your lease is nearing its end, consider a lease buyout to stick with your reliable vehicle. To learn more, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/auto. Insured by NCUA. Not a member? Join today. Equal Opportunity Lender.
The Working Families of Long Island Laborers District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
Open heart surgery, tear in my aorta.
The most complex cases come to us at Virtua Health.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been here without you.
Being a 45-year-old, not being able to walk up one flight of stairs, I had no idea I was in heart failure.
Virtua is a premier heart failure center in South Jersey.
They changed my life. It's truly a blessing.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Mary's Catholic Church in Cherry Hill, Saturday, February 8th, with Dennis Horan and Vince Valentine. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano show. So it's the age-old problem here, and it's about winning Pennsylvania, too. The suburbs around Philadelphia, you get it in Philadelphia, and inroads were made there. Inroads a little bit this time around in the suburbs with the National Republican stuff. But how in the world such a consequential vote? And I'm looking, I don't see coverage, local Chester County. I don't see, news media here on something like this. And trying to make the argument it's about taking away constitutional rights, not only of people here illegally, but Americans ultimately. And Houlihan is you can't use the word moderate with these people, but she's more so than the insufferable Madeline Dean and her partner in crime, Scanlon. And she's boldly out there, yeah, that's right, I have voted against this. Well, how do we explain these other people like Fetterman, Brendan Boyle? Are they voting to take away your constitutional rights? And 6 other Democrat senators now. So I think this bill is going to pass. Can't Republicans here locally make this case, make some noise? Let's go to John in Bluebell. John, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, John.
Hey, Dom. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I wanted to, a friend of mine, her father actually passed away 2 days after Christmas, was driving down the road in Chester County. They're from Kennett Square. Great man, 82 years old, grandfather, I think great-grandfather at this point, but very involved in church. A migrant went across the median in his pickup truck and head-on collision into him, killed him. My friend's sister was in the car. She ended up having a broken back, broken ribs. This guy was a migrant worker, Gonzalez or something like that, and he actually was arrested in November for drunk driving. Nothing was done about it. Finally, he's obviously committed manslaughter. So this is very true down in Kennett Square, the mushroom capital of the world. Migrants are, big down there, but it's disgusting. It's got to stop.
It is. And, it just rang with me when Neil Young, who ran against Houlihan, brought that up with the Chester County board, the people that are their business community. That's what they're interested in here, John. So it's not just Democrats, but I blame the media in this, too. The local papers, the local stuff. Do they know that Houlihan voted this way, for example? And are the people in the suburbs actually that far gone that they think this is a constitutional question for people that would do damage like this migrant you talked about?
Absolutely. I think it's disgusting. I think it comes down to also, let's start to do what they were doing with the buses right in front of, Harris's house. Why don't we drop these folks off at Madeline Dean's house? Hey, here's a couple migrants. They've only committed a couple crimes. You take them. Put them in your garage or whatever you have to do with them.
No, that's exactly right. Thank you, John. Or her mansion. She used to have one at the shore. Yeah, that's exactly right. I had a business thing yesterday, and the guy, real insider, big project I'm working on, was talking about Governor Abbott, he knows, and how Abbott took on, in Texas, Republicans and Democrats on school choice. But Abbott, what he did was both brilliant politically and morally it's a correct thing. Why should people in Texas and border states have to suffer this? People willing to come? Chicago now. And that's what's going to happen on the first day. Under the gun, they can't handle it. But it's the complicity out there because, if they were being honest in Chester County, they would say, well, we want to have these businesses. Do you want us to go out of business? Here we go again with this, that we're going to put up with this type of stuff. And I've never seen a study that indicates it, but it seems to me you have young men that are here working in these conditions. What's a recreation? Get drunk, drive. And in many of the countries they come from, drunk driving is not treated like we do it here. So over the years, I've seen umpteen examples of this. Well, that's the price of doing business. But to say, as this woman does, this is about the Constitution, just think about that. That's what this election was about. Republicans have to do better in the suburbs, though. They can't make this case. Oh, that scene is just Trump. That scene is xenophobia. No, these are real stories. Lakin Riley and her family are real people, and there are hundreds of them. Well, we have our own criminals. True. Bottom line is, though, we don't need people here illegally that are doing this either. At least we can start there. So hopefully, I'm thinking the first week, couple thousand are deported immediately around this. There's any number of them that have violated stuff again and again and again and again. Like the guy on the subway who just emulated a woman who was sleeping after working, the Brooklyn subway. It was a couple of weeks ago, last 10 days. Why do we need them here? Well, we want them to work. We're willing to put up with this stuff. We want them to work under the table. We want them to, just like the HB1 visa. Trump's wrong. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, you're completely wrong. It's un-American what they're proposing. We don't need them. Democrats try to tell us all the time we're not the best and the brightest anymore or ever were. Why do we need Vivek Ramaswamy to be saying that? Really? Out of America, we don't have enough people at the high end. India is not going to beat us. We're America. We don't need Republicans telling this when we have enough Democrats doing that. Let's go to, Let's go to Gary in Newtown. Hey, Gary, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, good afternoon. Good show as always.
Thank you, Gary.
I don't want to rain on your President Nixon parade. He's a little bit before my time, but he's also responsible for the high fructose corn syrup.
Wait a minute. Dan perked up in his. Wait a minute. He perked up in his seat
I
there.
don't like the guy anymore. Get him out.
The high fructose. That's it. Get Nixon out. No more mention of Nixon. Yeah.
No more. No more. We're not talking about him anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
Go ahead, Gary. Why do you blame Nixon for that?
It's not a matter of blame. It's his administration where it's kind of like Ronald Reagan is responsible for the pharmaceuticals not being allowed to be sued, right? It's the same thing. It was his administration that someone came and said, oh, we got this great idea. We're going to subsidize the corn farmers, and what we're going to do is we're going to make products really, really cheap. And as a result, it was high fructose corn syrup.
Well, that is a driver. I mean, there's no doubt. It's one thing when you do it in Iowa to get their vote because of gas and all that stuff. But when you do it with food, yeah. Well, look, if Robert Kennedy Jr. just focuses on that, I've said it many times, he's going to have the biggest legacy. If he's all over the place, though, we're not going to get anything done.
And my understanding is that he's also responsible for the rise of China. He's the one that got China into favored status, my understanding.
No, he opened up the door to them. I don't know about that, the favored status. I think that came later with other people that sold us out more. Nixon did break through with them, trying to use them against Russia. At least that's the way I see it. Who's your voice, different pattern?
You want the moon? Do you want the moon, Don? I'll give you the moon. George Bailey.
Yes, Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart, very identifiable. A bit older, true, but he's one of the all-time recognizable vocal
Richard Nixon before your time, but Jimmy Stewart is here.
Yeah, well, and Jimmy Stewart was more like out of The Godfather. That's the way he did it. It was a little bit different, yeah. All right, it is the lightning round next. Hit us with that. It's not just the voice. And Ron, I do want to hear that non-alcoholic wine option. Nothing wrong with the wine. I don't know why we're suddenly on this now. The preservatives and everything else. I'm going to bring your own bottle this weekend, and I don't think I'm bringing white wine. I just can't imagine. Yes, what's your favorite white wine, Dan?
Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's a Scott Presler.
Yeah, more of a Sauvignon Blanc kind of guy.
Yeah, you know what? My wife's a big Sauv Blanc girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's what I associate with headaches versus the red. But I know there are people that get,
I like a dry white.
Okay.
I talked about the grapefruit Moscato earlier.
That's right.
Really good.
Thomas Ellis, yeah. 855-839-1210. Jump in, be heard, get your name into the hat.
Join us Monday, January 20th, starting at 6 a.m. with Kale and Company at the Newtown Athletic Club for the inauguration of Donald J. Trump. Don Stensland will be there live from 10 a.m. to noon, and Dom Giordano from 12 to 3 p.m. The Newtown Athletic Club is one of the top lifestyle clubs and health and wellness centers globally. Visit newtownathletic.com. You can't be at the inauguration, but you can be with fellow Patriots. Monday, January 20th, starting at 6 a.m. at the Newtown Athletic Club. Live on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
I'm Jalen Hurst here for Window Nation. If you're a fan of saving money, listen up.
Right now, get 50% off all window styles. Plus, you could get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Sale ends January 31st, so schedule your consult now at 866-90NATION or at windownation.com. Tell them you heard it on WPHT.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
There's no need to wait. The time is always right at Colonial Hyundai. Hi, it's John Ashdale, the Cars Are. Today's the best day to buy a new car at Colonial. We have over 200 vehicles in stock. New Palisades, Konas, Tucsons, and the exciting EVs that have taken the world by storm, the Ioniq 5 and 6. We understand that everyone's needs, budgets, and challenges are different. But here at Colonial, we take the stress out of buying a new car. Big incentives, like $6,500 for your trade, guaranteed no matter the condition. The best financing in the business, no matter your credit, with rates as low as 0%. Plus, we streamline the buying process so you can be in and out of our dealership in no time without any unnecessary hassle or waiting. So why wait? Shop us online 24/7 at colonialhyundai.com or visit us on Lincoln Highway in Downtown. Colonial Hyundai, the faster, easier, better way to buy a Hyundai.
0% financing applies on select 2024 new Hyundai models. $6,500 for your trade, not available on EVs. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for more details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
All right, that's exactly right. Richard Nixon, 112, if alive today. Hit us with that great, distinctive vocal pattern. Doesn't have to be a great voice necessarily. Let's go to JB in Southampton. Who's yours, JB?
Happy New Year to you, pilgrims. This is the Duke talking. Now, I don't always drink Polish beer, but when I do, you bet your dupe I drink it with my Polish buddies down at the Polak Club. Hey!
Watch your language there, JB.
I'm a Polish descent, so I got to come to your rescue sometime.
All right, there you go. It wasn't Joe at Bordentown with the whole thing. All right, that's pretty good. That's in the spirit of it. John in Westchester. John, who's yours?
Hello, Dom. How are you guys doing?
Good.
First of all, Stag Leap Artemis Cabaret is the wine you want to take this weekend. Okay? It's smooth, it's velvety, and yet it has a bold little taste to it. So
that was
nice
Stag Leaf.
Stag Leap Artemis.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Second, it's malaise is the problem in Chester County, and we have no media out here. That's why. We have no paper of any real value,
right?
And the Inquirer would support Houlihan anyway. And third, they should be using reclaimed water from the wastewater treatment plants on a separate system in California so they have fire protection that isn't based on rainfall and everything else. Now, my voice is Bobcat Goldthwait from Police Academy and Scrooged with Bill Murray. Very distinctive vocal pattern. He's a comedian, director, producer. Very distinctive. So
very good. Thank you, John. Thanks for the wine selection. I'll see if that meets muster, or Dan may have another selection that we'll have to put up for a vote tomorrow. You can always hit me with wine selections. I'm always interested in that. The Earl of Tacony is next on Talk Radio 1210. All right, Earl, what do you have today?
Well, Dom, I was at a diner having lunch today, and I saw the Jimmy Carter funeral. And everyone's talking about how if you didn't have Jesus, you'd have Jimmy Carter. He's a Christian. He's a very religious man. They had all these pastors talking about him. And then at the end, they had Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood singing the communist anthem, Imagine, by John Lennon, where there's no religions and there's no possessions and there's no countries. And it's like, are they that tone deaf? That here it is, we're celebrating a man with high morals and religious standards, and then sing a song to honor him by saying that there is no God.
You know what? That is a great, and yeah, who knows who is it that gets in there and goes down that path? Who's your voice, Earl?
I have two. One's not going to qualify because no one knows who he is. I was going to say Harris Yulin. He's an extremely well-known voice if you've ever seen him. He was the judge in Ghostbusters 2.
Okay.
But since nobody knows who Harris Yulin is, I'm going to go with a man who's actually in the dictionary and has his own unique style of talking, and that would be your friend, William Shatner from Star Trek.
All right. Thank you very much. I never noticed that in interviews, but now that he mentioned it, I can see that. Bruce in the Northeast is back with us. He's well. He's back. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'd recognize that hair anywhere.
Where'd you go, Bruce? Where you been, man? It's been a while.
Where have you been?
Just this usual routine here and there, this and that.
You find a girl? It sounds like you found a girl, maybe.
Yes.
I'm still looking. You still got to line me up with someone if you get a chance.
All right. We'll continue this conversation when there's more time. Definitely. Glad to have you back. Who's your voice, Bruce?
Yeah, this is, you won't remember him if you're under 50, but Waller Brennan was big in Western movies. He had a distinct voice.
Yep.
And, let me, Waller, come over here. Let me get on the phone. Yeah, Jack Nabbit, this is Walter Brennan. Listen to that Tom Giordano on the radio, that hairy Italian.
Very nice. That's a pretty good Brennan. Henry, give me one that you have.
Scott and Mount Laurel's Harry Callis was on point.
Dom Giordano from John in Waterford as a 10th grade teacher.
Oh man, you didn't like Bruce here on this one.
I like Bruce as well.
If I can only take one.
Yeah, I got you. I go with Bruce today.
All right.
It fit into everything. Bruce goes back. He's back. One of the all-timers. All right, Richie always next with 4 big hours to take you home here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts?
At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 12th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in in-demand fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills and credentials you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
D&K Appliances is a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations located in Newtown Square and Flowertown. D&K Appliances offers one-stop shopping, providing delivery, installation, and service of top brands like GE, Thermador, Wolf, Bosch, Speed Queen, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool for your kitchen or laundry. D&K Appliance sales associates are industry experts, supporting customers every step of the way. Visit D&K Appliances, the dependable difference. Newtown Square and Flowertown showrooms, or visit DKappliances.com.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Have you recently had an HVAC tech at your home that you think was full of you-know-what, trying to sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need? Look, if your furnace or heat pump need to be fixed, we'll send one of our technicians out to do one thing: fix it. And if we do think you need a new furnace or heat pump, we'll send out one of our factory-trained teams to install state-of-the-art Trane heating system to keep you warm. Visit us at marvincans.com. That's marvinekanze.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Actual client compensated for sharing their experience. Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Attention small business owners needing financing. Swish Funding is providing funds for expansion, inventory, increased overhead, even slow cash flow to small businesses all over America with affordable funding as soon as one business day. And we're ready to help with funding from $10,000 to $2 million. If you've been in business for 1 year or more with a monthly income of at least $25,000, you can get the affordable funding you need with no collateral. Go to swishfunding.com today. That's swishfunding.com.
I'm Michael Wallace. The major wildfires in the Los Angeles area are still burning out of control. The largest is in the Palisades, where we find KNX Radio's Craig Figner.
There are countless streets here in Southern California, streets that were lined with homes that are now lined with smoldering rubble. This the result of the Eaton fire, which has destroyed at least 1,000 structures, many of them homes.
Standing here where I am, you would see our house, and you can't see anything. Everything burned down. There's nothing left.
The LA Sheriff's Department's canine teams will come in to search for bodies. It's possible as many as 5 deaths are connected to the Eaton fire. Craig Figner for CBS News, Pasadena, California.
The LA County Sheriff says 20 looters have been arrested. The NBA has postponed tonight's Lakers-Hornets game in LA. The body of former President Jimmy Carter is now being flown to Georgia, where he'll be buried in his hometown of Plains. Earlier, former UN Ambassador Andrew Young spoke at Carter's state funeral in Washington.
I want to say thank you. You have been a blessing from God, and your spirit will remain with us.
All 5 living presidents attended today's funeral. The water is coming back on in Richmond, Virginia, days after a storm knocked the city's water treatment plant offline.
Our system now is fully pressurized in all 9 zones. What we were waiting for earlier this morning, we had 1 zone that was holding out on us. And so, got to a point where we now have full pressure in all 9 zones.
Richmond Mayor Danny Avula says for now, residents should boil their water before using it. The grocery chain Kroger is paying $110 million to settle an opioid lawsuit filed by the state of Kentucky. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman says between 2006 and 2019, Kroger doled out 11% of all the opioid pills dispensed in the state.
Kroger and its more than 100 pharmacies across Kentucky was responsible for roughly 444 million opioid doses coming into our Commonwealth over the 13-year period in question.
The lawsuit alleged Kroger didn't do enough to stop suspicious opioid orders. The guidelines for a common vaccination are changing. More from CBS's Michael George.
The CDC is now recommending the pneumococcal vaccine for all adults ages 50 or older. The vaccine, commonly called PCV, protects against the pneumococcal bacteria, which can cause pneumonia, meningitis, and bloodstream infections. The previous recommendation was only for adults 65 and older.
CDC also recommends the pneumococcal vaccine for children younger than 5. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Weather sponsored by Newtown Athletic Club.
Clear and 23 overnight, still pretty windy. High 38 and mostly cloudy. Saturday, 36 with clouds. Possibility of some flurries or a snow shower. Saturday night down to 27, mostly clear. Sunday, back in the sunshine, high 42.
It's go time for your fitness at the Newtown Athletic Club, or NAC, in Bucks County. The NAC offers a variety of family-friendly gym memberships to accommodate each stage of your life, from youth to active aging, young families to empty nesters. Schedule a visit. Go to newtownathletic.com.
WPHT HD WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The revolution will be broadcast. This is the next generation of talk. Now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, Rich Zeoli.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, but I have to. It's not Rich Zeoli. It is his show. But it is Michael Pelka. Yes, that's me returning to sit in for my friend, as I promised you. If he needs me and I can be here, I will. So here I are on this 9th day of January, 2025. We are 11 days, still, like technically 10 days, and a handful of hours away from the return of Donald John Trump. Ooh, gives one chill bumps, doesn't it? Yes, I'm here, thrilled to be here, sitting in for Richard, who is, as you know, yesterday, if you were listening yesterday, and why weren't you? How dare you? He's in the hospital again. And I do not believe it's related to a story I was reading today. DeSantis, can you confirm or deny it is or is not related to the story that was published? It seems to come out every year about this time, the annual list of schmengy sizes by country.
I can confirm it had nothing to do with that.
Not related to that at all, because I was looking at it. It's a story in the New York Post. It's not like it's some